my tabletop audio. Shout out to that website, by the way. Starship Bridge, which is what I use for... Whoopsie. Good lord, that's loud. It's what I use for the Shard of Acheron's interior. Previously, I used a custom mix of, like, random sound effects, like a low rumble or something in, like, a distant tone, but I just swapped to this one because it was easier. I had to remake the custom sound pad every time I wanted to use it, so it's a bit troublesome. Alright, what are they talking? Dice again. Dice. Alpha's showing us all dice that we can't afford. Like the, like this thing, which is apparently 13 centimeters wide and $250. Like, are you kidding me? That's a shelf decoration. Alright, let's go get them. Okay.
All I heard was all of the hoe.
I'm sorry?
What are we talking about?
I don't know, Falc.
Okay.
Listen, sometimes it's best to just not ask questions.
Oh,
I know, Echo, but all I heard was all of the hoe. And
Yeah,
I was
probably
very
cut out.
confused.
Okay, so D&D, guys.
Wait, one thing first.
Oh,
This
we
is
do
very
that.
important.
Lurker, that's beautiful. So rotund.
Thanks
Carry on.
for this,
So
Toad.
squished.
Toad, frog? I don't know.
I
have
think it's
frog
a
friend,
toad.
and that's all we care about.
Alright.
It looks toad.
I have to
Ish.
adjust some
We
volume
made it
levels. Hold on a
to
second.
the
No, you're
made it
not.
into Suthara.
We had
did.
just made it into Suthara, yeah.
Yeah.
We just gotta yeet ourselves across the border.
You crossed the border into Suthara on your mission to enter the Underdark, so you can go get a pattern from the Webmother.
Yeah.
Using a spell that you, quote, bought, unquote, from the university, an 8th level control weather, and a combination of that and invisibility cast on your ship. You used that to move over the border unseen in a cloud of fog. Now you are above the jungle of Suthara, the homeland of the Yuan-Ti, and currently the home of the notorious Triferium, of which 2 members of your current ship crew used to be part of. Headed towards your rendezvous point with your Underdark guide.
Yeah, 2 of us were a part of them. 1 of us got killed by them.
Yep.
Technically, 2 of us got killed by them.
True!
Lyrics, thank
That
you
is
for
true.
the sub.
Too
I
soon.
gave you another spin.
Me and
another
Misa
spin.
have something to bond over. They both got shanked
Listen,
by the
I don't
Triferium.
Another star on your paper.
God damn.
That you did. That you did. One of your deaths was a bit more permanent, but... Well, I can't even
True.
say that. You're back on the material plane now.
I was about to
But
say,
I'm
not
undead.
quite.
No, you are undead. That is true.
So it was permanent.
Yes.
The thing that pops into my brain is, I got better.
I got better.
Sort of did.
I got better.
Anybody else want to say it? Alright. So...
Listen.
So done with us. Do we see anything?
Listen.
Damn, Falc, you having a day.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm trying to gauge when it's safe to put my stir fry in my mouth. So I don't know when I need to speak or not.
Falc,
Gotcha.
eating during a stream?
I'll eat if nobody can
Endless.
see me.
Make sure there's nothing in it.
I'll do it. So, you've got probably an hour or so of flight. Zakra, you're flying the ship, obviously, as you're the only one who can. What are the rest of you doing?
Misa, nose pressed against the glass, so to speak.
Panicking.
Misa has not seen home in a very long time.
Sleeping.
Anxiety.
Fair.
You've all been tricked. Tet can't sleep, you nerds.
Ha!
There's not really windows in the ship.
It's
Again,
the camera
structural
system,
weakness, but
right?
there are sort of cameras. Beyond the ship, you can see you're still moving in that cloud of fog that you've summoned.
Yeah, we limited our vision, but also anyone else's, right? Yeah.
Exactly. To any casual observer, if they can even see through the fog, all they will detect is an odd eddy in the cloud stuff as your invisible ship moves through. So you
The
can't
main
see.
concern is the less casual Preserver that has Trucy.
Well, you'll just have to hope
Listen.
on that one.
Yeah,
We did our best.
we went over the mountains so that we wouldn't get spotted as easily. This is as best as we got.
You know, I'm just saying that there's a reason we have the clouds. Let's hope they're not.
Correct.
It'll be
Yes.
fine.
Everything's fine.
Kaimi, I have to say, is in Lorelai's private room. Because it is the one place on the ship that you cannot scry into.
That's fair.
Misa's like vibrating slightly with
Should
just
I be
pure
there?
excitement.
It's up to you.
Should the... Ooh, that's probably a good idea.
Misa, all you see beyond the ship is fog, and very occasionally the top of a particularly large jungle tree poking through the canopy.
She's fine with that. It's still home.
Do I have like a sending stone number, what have you, for my contact, or are we just meeting up at a specific spot?
You're just meeting up at a specific spot.
Oh yeah, and
Then
Yes.
we will
Misa
stress
had-
crochet.
Because they
Yeah,
know
if
you well enough to
Misa-
do the scries, yes, and if they have a part of your body, it's even easier for them to scry you.
I hate that. Thanks.
The Trifarians do
scales.
have that.
The scales around her eyes. Oh, fuck. Anyway, Misa will probably sending stone. Oh, I've forgotten the dragon's name, but yeah,
Yurix,
Varix. Thank you.
you can't remember your own girlfriend's name?
Listen, I have the memory of a very wide-hold colander. Things just slip through.
Move.
Nothing I can do
though.
about it.
Never mind.
I can't remember the names of characters I named half the time.
Same.
Mood.
That's fair. I'll give you that.
I mean, hard to say. I named a couple characters almost the exact same thing, and Falcon had to deal with it.
Yeah. You had a Nasiri and somebody whose last name was Nasirin.
Oh, rip.
And I was like, we gotta change one of these. You haven't know how to... His name is... That's it! You did it right there!
JD, you hero.
You made that up.
Oh
You...
my gosh.
Okay.
But yeah, Misa will sending stone Varix at some point and
Okay.
just talk excitedly at her about being home for however long this is permitted.
We're just gonna hang out in Lorelai's room with the other folks for like brew some potion bases and maybe occasionally try to make conversation with Kaimi if she seems up to it. Otherwise, just sort of hang out there.
Kaimi is quiet. It was on Lorelai's suggestion that she stay in Lorelai's sanctum room. She seems quiet. She's got her hands wrapped in that like headscarf of hers. Who else was I? Oh, Varix. Varix does listen to you talk a lot, Misa, and pauses and stops you at one point to go, you know, it's probably not the same as when you left, right? Like, you know it's gonna be super different and it's gonna disappoint you.
Oh, I know, but still, this is home, you know. I
Yeah,
have
I guess.
been back in for 1,000 years. It is good to see that some things do not change.
Okay,
They have
well,
at least not taken my forests, my jungles down. They could have done that. Then I would have had to be very upset.
you know, that's fair. I would be pretty mad if I left the temple for some time and then I came back and someone burned down the forest, the sea. So I feel
Yeah.
real on that.
It is just... This land was home. It isn't anymore, but it is good to see.
Maybe it can be again someday.
I would hope so. I miss being able to to move about in this jungle. This jungle was a playground for a very long time for me.
Listen, if your jungle doesn't end up being hospitable to you, you can always come back to the sea. I think that would be kind of fun.
You hear for just a moment the words Misa.exe stopped working.
It makes the Windows error noise.
Girlfriend has been asking you to move in.
and then she goes, I think that would be quite nice.
If you do like your jungle, you can visit anyway.
I might just take you up on that offer.
I look forward to it. Hessa, you wanted to speak to Kaimi?
No, Hessa's just in the same room, pacing back and forth.
Okay.
It was
It's probably a good idea to be in there as well.
it was Mir who wanted to talk to
Ah,
Kaimi.
Mir.
Well,
Ye-
you're mostly just making like the occasional small talk, trying to see if you'll make Kaimi feel less awkward, but won't push it if she doesn't seem up for conversation.
Kaimi's not one who super often responds to being talked to, but you've sort of gotten... Now that you see her and have been around her a little bit more, it's easier to tell when she's actively actually listening to you speak, or if she's, like, in a please go away silence. And you can sort of read her moods a little bit easier now. She is quite clearly very afraid, but if you offer her a distraction, she's grateful for it.
I guess Mira will tell like little stories, either from our previous adventures, like fill her into what we've been up to, or we'll mention stuff that her grandmother did. So mostly just kind of making a bit of talk here and there.
She listens. She listens. She seems interested. She watches you as you speak and as you sort of do your fiber crafts. Sorry. Oh god, I need water.
Rip.
Consume water.
Hydrate or dihydrate.
Consume hydration.
Hydrator, I'm coming for your kneecaps.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Take them
true.
there, traitorous.
God.
So- You fly for several hours. Let me see here. Where are you?
Tell embarrassing stories about Hessa. Chat, no.
How dare you?
Yes.
I'm just saying, if Kaimi does this, Hessa will do the same. No remorse.
Love what stream chat can see right now.
Stay hydrated.
It's literally just the stay hydrated bear
A
with
bit,
like
yeah.
the wide eyes.
Let me see there. Oh god, I didn't even notice the wide eyes. Shit.
The eyes are bad.
Oh my god, it looks like the
Predictable.
sloth
Oh my
from
God.
Ice Age.
Oh no.
God, it does.
I
Oh.
am mad because you're right.
Sid, it's Sid.
Sin
It literally
indeed.
said
God, I hate that.
that's a
It's-
genuine
You've
problem.
done this.
Sid, it is
I
he.
didn't notice the
It's
rolls.
so bad.
It's
I
so
didn't notice
good.
me rolling in the background.
Okay.
but-
I
Well
love
done.
it so much.
Sid just
20
wants you
was
to
Horrible,
drink
horrible
water,
things.
you thirsty,
So we'll get to
thirsty
that
bitch.
eventually.
Love it.
You continue onwards through the forest. Past a point, the control weather spell is no longer active, but by that time, let's see, when did you enter the forest? What time of day did I designate one?
If you
I
did, I
have
don't
no
remember
clue.
it.
I don't
Yeah.
think it was 8:52 a.m. No.
Ah, right. It was 9:52 p.m.
It was
noon.
9:69 a.m.
It was noon exactly.
Noon exactly. It's high noon, you could say.
Making use of that D24, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah.
And
Why I own one.
hell yeah. So it was noon when you entered, so it's probably about 3:30 to 4 p.m. by the time you reach your destination. At about 2, you lost all traces of the control weather spell, because while it is a very large area, I don't know how long it lasts, and I don't know if it actually moves with the caster. I think it's just on an area. So you would have passed away out of its area pretty early on. But luckily, the forest, being a very rainy place, has a good deal of cloud cover anyways. and it seems that your meddling with the weather has only pushed it in the direction of being more cloudy. You can keep up the invisibility in any case, and now that you're far inside the border, you're less worried about, people spotting your ship or looking for it.
Also, just if you're curious for the control weather, it lasts 8 hours. It's within 5 miles of you.
Okay, so you pass out of it real early. It doesn't move with you. But at least that part of the border will continuously be cloudy for the next day.
And it shrouded us going invis, so like...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were mainly concerned about people watching the border. Hopefully there'll
Yeah.
be less prying eyes within the country in the random forests.
You would think that.
That's... Listen.
Well, less prying eyes with the level of spellcasting to cast True Seeing.
They're always watching!
Misa gently bonks you on the head if she hears you doing this.
The further into the border you get, the more, like, conspiracy theorist Hessa gets.
Oh god, are you turning into the fucking it's aliens dude? No.
Hell yeah.
Hessa starts raiding the kitchen for tinfoil to make into a hat.
Oh my god.
Lurker, how dare you? I heard that.
They're putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
It would explain this party.
It would explain you.
None of us are
Oh my god.
frogs.
No, but we...
You're a frog in your heart.
Next time.
Yeah.
Next time.
That's called being a furry. I'm sorry.
But they're
Yeah.
scaly. Well, not
They
even
definitively
scaly.
No,
Definitively
they're not
aren't.
even scaly, you fool.
But they're not like furry. Frogs are like, I don't
My
know.
brain was like, they're skinny. Wait.
They're moist.
Furry or not
They're
right now.
smooth.
Let's just stop.
We're having important
They're
conversations
smooth
here, thank you. Smooth.
Anyway.
smooth.
Okay, onwards. Off we go.
So, about 4 p.m., you enter the area in which you are meant to make your rendezvous. It was told to you, or it's written down in the papers that you have, that you've got, there's a large sort of clearing near a sinkhole, and you should set your ship down in there, and then disguise it before proceeding into the sinkhole to meet your guide.
Oh.
I know this session's going to take about 3 hours extra because I put a sinkhole in it, and we all know what happens when I put a sinkhole in my sessions.
Oh yeah. That's really unfair, though.
It
Falcon.
should
You
be
know what happens when
easier
you bring
with
disparate
a,
idiots to anything like that.
You've
With the
learned,
actual
Fel.
freaking airship.
No,
Do I-
Falcon hasn't learned.
Do I want to know what this is referencing?
It was referencing a 4-hour special session that we had, where an hour and a half of it was the party trying to figure out how to get down a hole.
Yeah.
God. It's
It's
The
our
one where
version of
everybody was a
doors.
bard.
Yep.
It's our
I
version of the
believe I've
fucking
heard of this.
doors.
Yeah.
Look,
God.
don't ask me any questions, and I won't tell you any
Falcon
lies.
having
How's
war
that?
flashbacks.
I know what I did.
I think Falcus too.
So are we able to just pile it into the sinkhole, or?
No,
Into
we
the
go.
sinkhole, no, it's a bit small.
Oh, okay.
We
Yeah,
put
actually-
the ship down nearby and then hide it.
Yeah, is there like a outcropping or somewhere we
There's-
can like park it?
There's a
I
clearing.
can cast like plant growth type spells to kind of cover it.
I could also stone shape like a ledge over it, and then we can cover it in the plants.
Can I search the area to see if it's like well traversed? Are there like patrols that go through here and junk?
Sure. You bring the ship down into the clearing. It's large enough for the ship to land here, but it's unwieldy. It's going to be difficult to disguise this thing in the trees. You're going to have to make some changes to the area, probably. You can take a look around. Hessa, roll, be a perception check.
Hey, I can do that unless I roll a what? Oh, I got a 20.
A natural 20?
That's not a one.
Shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Plus my, I almost said persuasion. Oh, 21, because perception is awful.
Alright.
That's still a nat 20.
Yeah.
You search the area. You find no evidence of Trifurium patrols coming through the area. You find a couple
Nice.
animal trails. and you find some evidence of activity around the sinkhole, but it's clear to you from the broken branches, from the scuffed dirt, drag marks of things being moved in and out. It's only because of people coming in and out of the sinkhole and not going anywhere else.
Okay.
Mm.
I tell everyone.
Wonderful. Thank you. She just like squishes your face a little bit. She just
Tessa accepts it, but you can tell she's like almost vibrating in place. She's not comfortable with this area.
The air of Suthara feels vaguely oppressive,
even to me.
even to you.
Smells
Oh.
like home.
Team spirit.
Smells like home. It's full of oppression.
Yeah,
Smells
get
like-
used to it.
Smells like bullshit. That is
Smells
what
like
it
teen
smells
spirit.
like. Smell. God.
Oh boy.
We're on fire today,
yeah.
folks.
God.
We're really
are
killing it.
trying our best.
We are.
You're very
So,
trying. Yes.
So between some stone shaping and plant growth, do we think we could reasonably hide the ship to at
Yeah.
least a distant viewer?
Yeah, the jungle is fairly thick, so if you sort of wedge this thing in the ground and cover it with plants, it'll probably disappear. To somebody who stumbles across it, they'll be able to see, but you know, hopefully they
also-
won't, and patrols don't come through here, so it shouldn't be that much of an issue.
Since we
And
also have
we
stone
are-
shape to help hide. Guess we need to like move some stone so this hides back into the rocks a bit more or something.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, we are gonna be leaving a couple people on the ship, yeah.
Yes.
Because Falcon only
okay.
wants to control so many NPCs.
Yeah.
Correct.
And speaking of
Exactly.
that, Kaimi does not want to leave the ship. She wants to stay in the non-detection room.
Fair
And
enough.
Fair.
Lorelei will have to stay to cast it every day.
That's fair.
You
Understandable.
you kind of wonder which if you're going to take either of the other two, and Tiska,
Mm-hmm.
you're still scared of the Underdark. Remember?
hell.
I sure am. God.
You
I forgot about
have probably been doing your best to kind of hide that, I would assume.
Yeah, I probably have been doing my best to try to not think about it. I'm like, we have enough to worry about. That I've kind of, it's only been in the back of my mind. It's like, okay, we'll deal with Suthara. Oh, we have to go in the hole in the ground now. Oh
Mhm.
no.
Your mind is
Oh,
filled with
no.
images of this dark, cramped space of being stuck and confined in a space too small for your body. And it's pretty obvious to everybody that you are highly uncomfortable with what's going on. And as you're kind of deciding who's going to go where, etc., kind of scouting the area for branches and stuff to lay over the ship to help grow with the plant growth, Desire actually takes you aside. And
Character growth?
he says, I can tell you're uncomfortable about this, about wherever you're going.
Undergrounds and I don't get along very well,
No,
in my experience.
I completely understand. He gestures to his one wing. It's not, creatures that can fly are not often keen on being so confined. But I won't let anything happen to you. And I would like to come with you, if that's all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
Yes.
Good. Good. And he hurries off.
Oh, I love him so much.
God.
That right there, it's growth.
He's doing so. He's trying so hard.
You let Nyx go, or you let Nyx know, and he'll probably have to stay behind. And he's like, "Good."
He also does not want to be under the ground.
Underground
Fair.
sucks. I mean, don't get me
That's
wrong.
valid.
I was born in a cave or something, but no.
You know what the worst part about being underground is, though? Like, real talk? It's that Temp can only punch things in black and white now.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's the point?
Get
You
wrecked.
say that, but
Oh yeah, you have a fancy Underdark.
I do. I
Yeah.
do indeed.
You have cool people Underdark.
Fancy.
I do.
I, as the player, am delighted. I, as the character, am just absolutely
Having a bad
dreading
day.
this. Yeah,
Player and
just
absolutely
having a
dreading
fucking time.
So, you disguise the ship. Explain how. Just a quick rundown.
So we use like the stone shape to kind of shift the stone so that we can kind of set it slightly back into the rock, like make sort of overhang to hide it from the sky, and then plant growth all over the place.
Yeah, I'm assuming there's like vines around that can be grown over the ship, and
Okay.
then just trees and shrubs brought closer to kind of disguise it.
Okay. Anything else?
Can Lorelai like put some kind of minor illusion through the ship just to like change the color of the ship to be a little more closer to the rocks around than the sheer black or what have you of the
Hellrock.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do have to say the trees and plants don't like touching it.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I
Because
just thought of that.
The surface is cold to the touch, and they freeze when they touch it. But they can go around
Forgot
it.
about that.
Yeah.
You notice some of the tree roots that you grow sort of form like a cage. They don't quite touch it, but they do go
Nice.
around it.
That works.
Does Lorelei have illusion spells? No.
I mean, does she have like prestidigitation or something?
I
That
mean-
can change the color of things.
Yeah, but only for a minute.
Yeah. She'd have to be sitting by the
You have to cast it
by the
constantly.
inductor. Yeah,
Yeah,
she'd have to
fair.
be sitting by the inductor all the time, and I don't think she would enjoy that.
Also,
Yeah, at some point she's
the
gotta use the bathroom.
anti-scrying.
Yeah.
I don't know if she needs to be near the anti-scrying to.
Yeah, she have to
keep
cast.
that up.
She has to. It hasn't been 100 days yet, so she has to cast it every day.
Yeah.
It's the private sanctum.
Hmm. Which is a neat spell.
Very.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, yes, she casts non-detection, but I think non-detection specifies an object no larger than 10 feet in any dimension, and I think the ship is larger than that.
I would hope so.
You want to cover the ship in dirt. How?
Carefully.
I should have been more specific. Using what
A
method?
lot of shovels.
Okay.
Do we have shovels?
You have
I've got pickaxes.
you have a big snake who is very strong and can heft stuff, but also that's a lot of dirt.
I think move
would be
earth
making
is a
a-
spell also
Yes.
We would be making a very big hole to cover this.
that I would have access to.
We
Let
could
me
make a
check.
really big hole for it to like kind of sit in, you
How
know.
big is the ship? Very. I don't remember.
I don't think it's feasible.
Little bowl. Also, if we do move Earth, we could like make a little, like a cave big enough for it. Maybe
You've
Right?
already.
That
you
was
already
what I
were-
was suggesting with the stone shape.
Yeah.
it's all right. I know what's happening.
There you go.
Move earth.
Dude.
Choose an area of terrain no larger than 40 feet on a side within range. You can reshape dirt, sand, or clay in the area in any manner you choose for the duration. can also raise or lower the area's elevation, create or fill in a trench, erect or flatten a wall, or form a pillar. The
You can
extent of any
earthbend.
such changes.
You can earthbend.
Essentially, yeah.
Nice.
So
Yeah, you can use that.
you can earthbend for 2 hours within the range of the spell. So yeah. That's
Alright.
a 6th level spell, so I would be out of 6th level for the day, but I can definitely do that.
What you choose to do is up to you.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Alright. So you've got plant growth, stone shape, move earth that you're all putting on this.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll throw some sticks up there. Help a little bit.
Thanks.
You have
Amazing.
thrown sticks.
Yeet some sticks.
You can kind of like cover it in branches like people do in movies.
They all fall over and it's not helpful.
Just throw his handfuls of grass
She's
on it.
doing her
Yes.
best.
She's trying.
She's doing her best.
Alright, and is that the extent of your alterations?
Can't really think of anything else to do, so
Yeah.
Alright. It takes probably a little while, it probably takes about an hour, to kind of nestle the ship backwards into the cliffside, because the rear end of it is more obvious than the front. It's sort of these large, sort of sweeping fins, and you kind of need to hide them. So you nestle it, you turn the ship around and sort of scoot it backwards into this molded cliffside, and then pour the rock over it like water and shape it the way you want. Then you use mold earth to kind of buffer the sides. You leave the airlock so that you can get in and out, but you dampen its silhouette and try to break up the outline by just covering it in dirt, and then finally go on.
Fill in all the weird shapes. I'm sorry. Fill in all the weird shapes that don't occur in nature.
Yeah. Exactly. And finally, as a finishing touch, you add plants over top of it to make it look as if the Earth is really like this, and it's not just dirt humped over a random object. When you're finished, it looks pretty good. It looks... If you didn't know there was a ship there, and you weren't looking at the airlock, it would probably be invisible to you.
Cool beans.
I've lost my pencil. Damn. I was gonna write something down, but I lost my pencil.
Rip.
Does this one have lead? It does. Never mind, I've got a pencil.
Please don't die, whoever that was.
Rip. I hope whoever that is doing okay.
Yeah.
Whoever's
Someone's
coughing
in the background.
Oh.
Alright. Your ship is disguised. You can feel free to proceed.
into the sinkhole.
Is there are there stairs? Is there a ladder? Do we have to just wing it?
I
is a
have
sinkhole.
ropes and pitons and chains and various other things I collected from the mine.
Yeah, it's a rocky, just a hole in the ground, and the ground sort of goes inwards. You can see it's probably about 60 feet deep or so, and then there's like a ground segment that slopes away.
Misa just stares into this, looks down at the fact that she doesn't have legs, and goes, "Oh, for fuck's sake."
You feather fall in. Okay.
Zacharo, how dare.
I believe so. Featherfall works on, what, 6 falling creatures?
No, it's dependent on the level you cast it at. I think.
No, it definitely does more than one at first level.
Might be like Blast Short does 3 at first level, and then more for each level.
Hold on, I'm looking it up. The other.
But man, this is an arcade spell.
The
You're gonna
other.
have to...
Choose up to 5 falling creatures within range. My bad. And Tiska can fly.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Desire?
I
cannot
don't want
fly.
to, but
Desire cannot fly, but Misa can piggyback him.
Or they can all just fall.
Yeah.
I didn't know if we had one too many people or not.
Yeah, because that would be casting on self, and then 1, 2.
You cannot upcast it for more people, unfortunately.
I guess Jessica can maybe carry Mir. She's small.
yeah.
You
I mean,
also
so can
Or
Misa.
Hessa.
you also have multiple spell slots.
No, I meant somebody who
Yeah, but
flies would
it's-
need to carry someone
Ah.
if we didn't have enough for Featherfall.
Can someone who's being
Yes.
featherfalled carry someone else?
I'm gonna say
Maybe
no
Mir or
because you can
Hessa?
cheat.
Or not,
Fair enough.
yeah, not Featherfall, but yeah, Tiska
I'm
could
since
maybe
I can
carry,
actually
like,
fly, I
Mir
could
or
carry
Hessa.
someone.
Yes, Tiska, you could.
Yeah.
I think we've had this debate before. I think you had to fly people over lava
Ah,
in
yes.
the plane of magma.
Yeah.
Fun
Back in-
stuff.
Back in the Plane
Yeah,
of Fire,
because-
which was the last time I used Stone Shape, where I made a door and then forgot that I didn't have a second spell to put it back.
Yeah.
It's just a door there forever now.
Hey, the rug worked, I'm sure.
Sure thing.
Okay, anyway.
Yeah,
Thanks,
sure.
Valk.
Listen, we saved their dad. It's fine.
So,
Exactly.
what's your plan?
Jump straight in.
Featherfall everyone except for Mir, because Mir can be carried, I guess.
Mir is
By
quite light.
Jessica? Yeah.
Mir and Hessa, I think, are the two smallest of the party, since we don't actually have any, like, gnomes or halflings.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Mir would be the lightest.
Yes.
Bird bones?
Bird
Alright.
bone.
I'd significantly doubt that Mir is too heavy for Tiska to carry.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that'll work. Zachariah, you can featherfall everyone except Tiska and Mir, and then Tiska, you can just carry Mir down. Easy as that.
Cool.
When you reach the bottom of the sinkhole, you see there is a sort of a limestone slope leading downwards. There are no steps that have been cut into it that you can see, and once you are out of the direct sunlight, you start to see kind of stairs, like the imprints of them, very slightly chiseled in. Not obvious, not unless you're looking for them, but there are steps. This is a place where people traverse. And you get, I don't know, probably about 300 feet into this large tunnel. It's a big tunnel. It's probably about 30 feet high, 30 feet wide or so. You get about 300 feet in, and it's getting pretty dark when, let's see, Tiska and Temp, you guys hear a movement up ahead. Tiska,
Mir, by the way, pops on the goggles of night,
perfect.
so that she can actually see in the dark.
Yep, it counts as dark over here. There's only light shining in from the sinkhole over behind you. Tiska, you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. Trying to not, like, hyperventilate or anything. We're good.
Misa will stick near you. God, yeah. Misa will stick near you to try and be a comforting presence.
Thanks.
Desire puts a hand on your shoulder for a moment.
We going through multiple.
Thanks. I appreciate.
But yes, you hear a movement ahead.
Can you see what it is?
Roll perception.
Okay. Oh, that was a nat 1.
Oof.
Panicking too hard.
Or just words.
What'd you get? What?
Oh. perception, right? That's a
Yes.
25.
Okay. It's not too hard to see, because he rolled a natural 1 on his stealth. But Tiska wouldn't have spotted that. Because he rolled a natural 1 on perception, which I think is apropos for the situation and area.
So yeah,
Um,
that's very fitting.
Yeah.
you see a spider that is probably... each leg is probably 7-8 feet long.
Nope.
Misa's so down for this. This is incredible. She's never
Nope.
been down here.
And it comes towards you, and you have a moment of panic before you realize that it's not a spider. It's a spider with an elf's torso and head and arms.
Ah, great.
And he is wearing a sort of dark-colored, silver-trimmed coat, sort of wrapped and buttoned down his front. You can see there is a bow slung across his shoulders and back, and he has gray hair that's sort of tied back in a bunched sort of ponytail. Mir, you know this man.
I was about to ask. Do I see him with the goggles of night on?
Yeah, once he starts coming forward, the couple of people who noticed a noise would have noticed him first, but after that, everybody else is made aware of his presence. He makes himself known.
Mir waves. Hi, Aspic.
Hello. Good to see you again.
Misa waves.
Yes, Zakra, of course you would know this is a Drider. He looks all of you over. Oh,
Mir will make the introductions.
Hessa is most definitely hiding behind Misa.
And so
Misa's having a great time.
he...
That's great. He works with Aurelian. You're also kidder. But yes, he is very nice, and he helped me and Siri do a thing to help Prince back in Etria.
I'll bow to him.
Mir makes introductions, so these are the Yahoos I travel with.
I've heard of them,
These
yes.
crazy people are my family.
Hey, Mir.
Hmm?
Hey, Mir.
Yes.
Single. No.
No.
He is
Don't
definitively
know
not.
whether he's polyamorous or not, but I know he does have at least one person.
I don't believe he
Hessa
is,
raises a fist for a little fist bump for temp.
God damn it.
He looks your party over, nods. He says, "All right, well, just follow me. I'll take you to the decontamination area. Come on."
Decontamination?
Yes. You have to be cleansed before you can enter the Underdark. It's nothing personal. It's just that we don't want you. Well, you.
No, I get that. My main problem is, should we do our stuff as well? Or
You
do
will,
the contents of the bag of holding.
Oh, good point.
Gonna be here a while.
Yes, that. I suppose anything that you have, that you intend to take out, should be removed and cleansed when going through decontamination, but aside from that, I don't think it'll be a problem. Just be careful what you remove. Or don't. The bag of holding's interior is not exactly known as being an area conducive to the survival of foreign bacteria.
Fair enough. It is technically airtight.
Yes.
So if we stick stuff into the bag of holding, it works as a decontamination unit.
Only
Because
if
that's
the thing in question that you're trying to eliminate can be eliminated by a lack of air.
Interesting. We'll need to keep this in mind.
That's pretty cool, actually, yeah.
As Crick turns around and he leads you down this tunnel, his movements are... they're very deliberate, in a way. He's not that fast. As Crick. He's not that fast.
He's big. He's got a lot of mass to move, so that's
true.
understandable.
Sort
but
of like Misa. No, not fast. Can't do it.
every step he takes, it's like he's checking very carefully where to put each foot as he goes.
Mir's
It's
gonna,
almost
as he
dainty.
go along, like, look where he's putting his feet and try to walk in those same areas.
Yeah.
It's not that he's trying to avoid anything, it's just that's how he moves.
Well, I mean, Temp wouldn't do
Well,
it
Mir
either
probably
way because,
may or
Temp
may
is
not
fucking
necessarily
idiot.
pick up on that, so...
Huh.
She's new here. She's like, maybe you're nuts. Maybe I have to be looking for, like, I don't know, tiny mushroom people or something that I'm supposed to step on.
Just step on
I
the
know.
tiny mushroom people, that's rude.
Misa can't do anything about how she moves, but she will do her best to watch her lower half.
I heard you go for step and then go, wait a minute.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, no, but I can't say slither either, because that's kind of...
Watch your scoots?
Yes.
Nowhere.
Yes, exactly. I'm going with scoots from now on.
Watch your weight. Thank you, JD.
Watch your way, that'll work, yeah.
But scoots.
Yeah,
But she's
Scoots
not
is-
technically scooting.
It's scoots,
I don't think I
not-
care,
yeah.
quite frankly.
No, it's scoots with a U and an ES.
S-C-U-T-E-S?
Yeah.
That, yeah.
They're belly
Exactly.
scales that snakes use to move by, like, lifting them
Yeah.
and digging them in. And,
Oh,
yeah.
it would be a pun though.
The things I learned from living with
Cursed.
JD.
It
No pun.
would be a pun.
Huh? Don't
No
worry,
pun.
You'll be pun-iced later.
Hey.
But yeah, no. Misa
Not
will
like
be
weird.
as careful as she can with the fact that she is fucking huge and can't, like, step.
That's true.
She's just going to be muttering apologies as she moves.
Oh.
It's fine. There doesn't appear to be much here. It's mostly just like anything that's sort of drifted in from the surface. As you go further into this cave, you hear the chitter of bats and not much else, and the sounds of the jungle sort of fade behind you. Before long, probably you walk maybe a mile. You may walk maybe a mile down this tunnel, and it twists and it winds and it slopes down the entire time. Till you turn a corner, and you find that the tunnel is completely blocked off by what looks like a tumble of rock. Ascrick doesn't seem worried by it. He just walks on forward and steps through it. It is illusory,
Oh,
which
Oh.
once he demonstrates is obvious to you. You can see right through it. Beyond it, there is a metal grating that runs across the entire tunnel, and taking up most of the tunnel just beyond it is a sort of a squat building, squat white stone building. He pauses and he says, "In here, you'll be going through a decon process. I'll go through one too, but it won't be as rigorous. I never really left the Underdark. So, it's not anything too difficult. Just follow my lead."
Misa will raise a hand.
Yes.
Well, I am technically undead, and also she moves her armor a little bit and shows the wounds. I don't know if there is a different thing that I must do for these.
Well, does it actively bleed?
No, hasn't for a while.
Then it should be fine.
Okay.
Not
don't
for
see
a
anything
while.
else.
Oh god.
It has been a long time since any of these bled. If they start bleeding again, there's a problem.
Understood. I'll keep an eye on it. Seems confused slightly.
Oh, that was more muttering to herself. It's like,
Oh.
yeah, she's just.
He's got good hearing.
Am I going to
Mir
get
just gives like a little,
shadowed?
Now you are.
thumbs up, like double thumbs up, like it's fine.
The
You're traveling with a lich. It's okay.
the door in front of you, it's more like a sliding garage door. And it raises up as you get close. You realize it's that large because Ascrick has to get through. And it's probably wasn't built for him, but it was built for things his size, most likely. And he ducks in, and you find yourselves in a large, sort of gray stone room. And on the far side, there is a window, and a couple of doors. And the window has a circular metal plate with little dots in it. It's like a speaker. And on the other side of the window, there is a drow. who looks up, waits till you all enter, and then closes the door behind you. And then you hear them say, "Right, okay, there's chambers off to the right. You go in there. Nobody's watching. You take your materials, everything that you're wearing, everything that you're carrying, you put it in the box on your left. It will go through decon on its side. You will go through decon on your side. I'm sorry, but you have to wash because we don't want your bacteria down here. And on the far side, you will get everything back, get dressed, and you will be released. Is that clear?
Sure.
Lisa gives a thumbs up.
Excellent.
You will also give thumbs up.
You'll probably have to go one by one. This is not a often used entryway, sorry. So take your time, I suppose. It's not like I've got anything better to do.
Oh gosh.
You're going last.
No,
So-
get it out of the way so you can dry off.
Hessa will go
basically-
through.
Alright, Hessa, you volunteer to go first. You enter the decon chamber. It's basically... Oh my god, I keep hitting my own spacebar and messing up my... Stop it. Okay, there we go.
Spacebar, too powerful.
It's my book, my notebook hits the spacebar. It's one room where you take all of your possessions and then your clothes and armor and whatnot, and you pop them in like a book return, basically.
Oh.
And then you close it, and it locks, and your stuff goes to like a conveyor belt, and then you head through into another room which has it is like a shower head, and you have to rinse yourself off in water that smells faintly of some kind of herbal mixture, maybe. You can't really tell what it is. It's got this sort of peculiar, sharp, sort of pungent scent to it. And then once you're done with that, you go to the next room. Your things will bump against the reverse book return, and you can get them out, put them on, and then leave through the last door out into a waiting room. Azkrik goes through a different series because the doors on the first one are too small for him. And by the time you get out, he is already waiting.
I'm guessing BSO will also be going through that door.
Yes.
Yeah.
As soon as you guys come through, the first thing you see is Egg, who is in a weasel shape and is just so fluffy, just like a big puff ball.
You got dried. Egg got dried.
Yes.
Excellent.
Not fried egg, but dried egg.
Fluffy.
Fluffy baby.
I love it.
Mia, when she goes through, is also going to, like, split whatever crochet she's been working on recently and also have that be, like, cleaned separately from the bag of holding, just because it's more likely to have had contact with outside air.
Of course, yeah. For sure. As
These
always,
will go.
Mir, there is, like, a mirror in the washroom, and it does startle you again, that white star on your chest, because you keep forgetting it's there.
Look, it happens.
Misa?
Misa will go in, and armorless, she's just gonna look at herself for a little bit. You know,
Weird.
examine.
It's weird.
Does the Citadel where she was hanging out, does it really have, like, mirrors? Would she, like, look at herself particularly often?
She could. I don't see why it wouldn't have mirrors.
I don't know if she would have. I don't know if it would have crossed her mind, because, like, she's dead now, so, like, eh. Who cares?
Probably would have caught your reflection in a window or something. At
But
least
she was
once.
but she always had armor on. Now she just sort of traces her fingers around the 3 holes in her torso.
They look pretty grody, to be honest.
Yeah, she just sort of goes, that is, unfortunate. That is unfortunate. And then, you know, goes on her way. Does what she needs to do.
Alright.
She's just gonna be thinking about that for, like, hours now. Just like,
Give yourself a mirror flex.
What's behind your ears? Oh, wait. Tell that to yourself, Zacro. Fuzzhead.
Hey,
you gotta get washed, my friend. Good
You
luck.
you're
gotta get
gonna be
washed.
so fluffy.
You will.
Oh my
I'm
God,
picturing
Sakura
Mia
is gonna
bathing
be
like a bird,
majestically
just doing a little
fluffy, and it's
splishy
gonna be
splashy.
So good.
Also, hopefully this washes that fucking tattoo off a temp.
I hope not.
It is a... You can
It
tell
better
it's like
not.
a magically imbued liquid. So it does fade it. It does fade it away.
Nice.
Partially. There's still like an outline, or like a faint imprint left.
Good.
But it'll be gone soon.
That will go away eventually.
But yeah, once Misa gets out, she's just going to be like hand near where the like collarbone wound is,
Mhm.
and just sort of coils herself somewhere, and just does that for a couple minutes, staring off into space,
Rip.
looking
Alright.
vaguely upset.
Aww. And anyone else? Aside from poor Sacro, of course. Or shall we torture him now?
Gotta go in eventually.
The drow behind the window goes, yeah, you gotta do that. No, sorry. It's on a... Yeah, no, yeah, we've heard that before. You're gonna have to do it, though. You're gonna have to do it. Yeah, sorry. Listen, it's on, like, a microbiological level, and Prestidigitate doesn't exactly get that, so... I don't know. I mean, go find out. Do I have to use the laser pointer? Yeah, that was
So,
not. He didn't say that.
If Zakro does not come out in a bit, here's
When
going
Zach's
to
coming
go
out,
get
I'm so
him.
proud of him.
You're
And by
doing
go get him, I mean open the door to the shower, tell him I am gonna count to 3.
Oh no.
Unfortunately, you cannot open the door once you have closed it behind you.
Aw.
It's
You
locked.
can message or sending.
That's gonna. I thought I was going after Zakro, sorry.
Yeah, it won't let you backwards. Not at the moment.
And Zakro said last. Wanted to go
Ah,
last.
missed that.
Oh, yes.
Darn, I had plans.
Oh no.
I'm sorry. The water temperature is mild. It's not hot. It's tepid would be an insulting way to put it, but yes. You could just say lukewarm. It's the temperature of soup that's been out for 2 hours.
Oh no.
What a way to put it.
You're welcome. Feel like you're bathing in tea. It does feel a little bit like that. It has a very strong smell to it. You actually do recognize the smell. It's common as the trees grow near the Cerulean Bay. It's eucalyptus.
Ooh.
Ooh.
The entire time you're worried about your spellbook getting magic irradiated, you assume...
Eucalyptus.
Eucalyptus! That they have dealt with magical artifacts before and will not damage it. And when you encounter your spellbook on the other side, you can tell it's been passed over with some kind of, with several magic spells. And it does look physically cleaner, but it does not appear to be damaged at all. You are clean. And damp. A great personal cost.
Great personal cost.
It's like that meme, the fucking awake, but at what cost? Except instead it's fucking clean, but at what cost?
I didn't know
God.
Zakra was so anti-bathing until now.
Now we know.
Now we know.
He's just been prestidigitating himself the entire time so he doesn't have to shower.
Horrific.
Horrible. Yep, sorry. Decon is like that.
Misa's still just sitting coiled, hand over the collarbone. She's just looking like the emotion of eh.
Mir will loan Zakar the fisherman's blanket if he cold and wet.
Oh.
Oh yeah, because it's always warm.
And then you give it a
Yeah.
shake and it immediately dries.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yes, you now have a you can use that to kind of warm yourself up. You
Fluffy.
present your visas. Yes, as Crick. It goes. Everyone here? Oh, okay, perfect. All right. Let's see. Where did I say that was? I didn't specifically note it in the journal anywhere. So you will, let's see, go through a final set of doorways, and there's a drow there behind another glass plate. But this one's just kind of a glass plate. It doesn't have like a speaker box in it, and the bottom is open, so you can pass stuff through, like papers and whatnot, like a bank teller window. And they do ask for your visas. You present them. They look them over, okay them, and you are free to go through. As Crick just kind of nods at the person who nods back. They know who he is. He came through here maybe 15 minutes ago. It was longer than that. Maybe 2 hours ago.
Alright, in we go.
Do you detect any magic? The area appears to be spelled and warded against, like, disease and, again, biological agents. And there are some spells for, like, seeing things. Are you using, like, detect magic? Or are you just sensing stuff? Yes? Okay. A fair amount of abjuration to ward the area against unauthorized entry. Specifically on that metal grate, which you thought was probably a pretty poor defense against anything coming in from the outside. I mean, it's a metal grate. If they can get through it, they're through it. But you see now, when you look back at it, that it's heavily warded. And anything that tries to break that grate will suffer. It will suffer the consequences. And then, of course, like, transmutation magic for the cleansing rooms and whatnot. So it's a nice setup. Yes, it is.
They know what they're doing.
They do. Board agents, is this an off-past outpost? No, almost never. People very rarely use this. The only folks here maintain this area because they kind of have to, and they have to watch all their entryways. But it hasn't been regularly used in centuries. Do they get bored? Very. Extremely bored. They read a lot.
What do they read?
Mood.
Books that they borrow from various libraries.
Do they have any books lying around?
No, they've got access to the digital downloads collection. They're good.
They're dark over tech.
Yeah, they have computers.
I have two computer.
And their computers actually look a bit sleeker and newer than Lorelai's sort of machine.
God.
They go, oh really? Okay, sure. I'll take a look. From there, you, let's see. Here we go. From there, it is a couple days walking through the various tunnels. As Crick leads you downwards, it's a winding route, and you actually do see many other caverns and tunnels linked to this one, leading off in various directions. About a day in, you enter a different tunnel to see that there is a strip of glowing material at the top of the cavern that winds its way ahead of you and disappears further onwards. It's glowing in like a blue-white light, and it's shedding light on the area so that you can see where you're going. About 2 days after that, you finally reach a cavern that includes another white stone building, though at this point you're deeper in the earth, so it's not all limestone anymore. It's various types of rock. but it's another white stone building, and it's actually built up on a raised stone platform because it is next to a long silver railway that appears to run south to north and disappears north and south out these like holes in the cavern walls. Go on.
I was just gonna say that since we have a few days on the way, Mir's just gonna trade camping stories with
With Az?
Ascrick, or asking
Sure.
about, is there anything interesting happening in the Underdark? Has there been anything odd, or did they notice anything from being near?
He kind of ponders it, and he goes, well, not in this domain, anyways. I don't think much super interesting happens here, but I also don't know about any happenings in the other domains. We're connected to them, but their news is not exactly spread far and wide.
Alrighty.
Do you see tiny mushroom people? No.
Do we see regular sized mushroom people?
Also no.
Pretty cringe.
I know they're a thing. That's all I'm saying. Anyway,
There is some life down
Yeah.
here. Cave creatures. The occasional slime. And I mean that in both the D&D monster slime and just, like, slime. But there's not a lot of it. Yeah,
I've been playing Slime Rancher a bit, so my brain is just immediately picturing that. I'm like, that's probably not what they look like.
That's exactly what they look like. I'm
Nope.
sorry, no.
nope. No, it's not.
Vetoed.
How are they not wiggly little balls of happiness? Thank you.
'Cause I
It's
said
just like
so.
immediate veto on that.
Hard nope. So, yes. The building, as Crick tells you... Oh, is there anything anybody else wanted to do on, like, a several-day journey through some tunnels?
Not really.
I'll ask Askirk before I do this, obviously, but am I allowed to do any gathering of potion things?
Here in the outer areas, yes. Sure. But, I mean, there's probably not much. You might find some rare herbs if there are any growing down here, and stray bits of light, but... I don't know. You're welcome to look. So you can give it a shot.
Yeah, possibly if I can find some kind of mineral or the like.
Yeah,
As it is.
may also be an option. Oh god.
Did I do something?
You're bumping the microphone or something. That's all.
And I had my wisdom modifier.
Yes.
Then 12.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I rolled 2 5s.
Do I give you 2 or 3 for that? I can't remember.
I don't remember.
Oh lord. It's in one of my many notebooks. It's this one, I think. Let's see here. It doesn't tell me. It just tells me how it works. It doesn't tell me how much you get. Okay, well, I can't remember.
If you ask me, I'm gonna say 3, but...
Yeah, I feel like it was 3.
JD is also saying 3.
It was 3? Okay, then we'll go with that, because I'm pretty sure that's right. You take some time and look through the area as you go along. You find a scraping of a rare metal, like a pure metal. It's like magnesium or something. And you can get
Metal
some...
or mineral?
Oh, sorry, mineral. My bad. I forgot they were different things. But you will find a mineral, a metal, and then 1 earth essence.
Ooh.
Which you discover sort of in a handful of small crystals that you find tumbling out of a fissure in the wall. And you ask Azcrick about it, and he says he has no idea what that is, but you're probably able to take one if you want. You can examine it later or use it Don't take too many, because otherwise something might notice.
Mira will, like, ask Brom to borrow some of his tools to, like, just carefully chink a little bit off.
Sure, yeah. You gather an earth essence.
Yay!
Alright. Anybody else? Okay. After those few days, you get to that cavern with the little building and the rail. It's, as Crick tells you, it's called Environ 16. Spelled with a Y. It is a rail station. A very seldom used rail station. And you enter it. It is, at the moment, unstaffed. There's no one there. But there is a white light that shines from these ceiling lamps. And you wait for a couple of hours until an automated voice tells you that there is a train coming and it's headed north.
Has Mira ever seen a train before?
I don't know if any of you have seen a train.
Ooh.
You've definitely
Mira probably
seen a
has to
train.
be, like, pulled back from the platform, like, stand behind this yellow light, 'cause she's, like, bouncing up and down with excitement, leading to see, like, oh, something's coming from that tunnel?
Yes. And you first hear, like, a distant whoosh of air and a sort of humming sound. And then you do see a pale light that shines in the south tunnel. And then there's, like, a rush of wind, and it's this smooth, silvery, like, rounded shape that shoots out of the south wall of the cavern and zips towards the station, and only comes to a halt once about half of it has passed the station, and it slows as it goes to the point where it sort of stops, and you realize it is hovering over the track. It's not actually touching it.
So cool.
It is silvery in color. The doors are perfectly flush with the surface. It is completely smooth.
Hessa is most definitely, like, trying to figure out how they're getting it to, like, float.
Yeah, you can, with a couple of very quick experiments, you realize it's magnetic. It's
Hessa is so excited.
it's using
You're
magnetic
just busy
repulsion.
going, ooh, ah, ooh.
This is just like, oh, huh, neat.
Neat.
You all board the train as Crick kind of folds himself through a door.
Yeah, like him and Misa both. Like, damn.
It's a bit difficult to get on, yeah. He kind
Mira's
of
definitely like a small child on her first train trip.
the
Looking at everything, checking out the, like... is this more like a sit-down train, or are there things where you hold it like a subway?
oh, it's
car
not like a
things that
subway.
has-
It's like a legit train. There's like stairs going up to where you actually sit, and the seats are very large and
Stairs?
plush. You can get upstairs.
Are there
Yeah,
any
she looks like
windows,
she'd be
or
happy about it.
is it enclosed?
There are windows. Most of the time, if you look out, you'll just see darkness, as far as you can know. But there are
Mira's
windows.
pasted to the window anyway.
For sure.
Do all of the cars connect?
Yes. Yes, they do.
Hessa is most definitely exploring the whole thing. Even if it's the same, like every single one is, it's awesome to her.
Yeah,
Mira will probably join you in that, just being like,
there are people in the other cars, all drow, mostly. Well, mostly drow. There's a couple of other elves and once a tiefling who's not paying attention to you. There are other people headed
Mira
north.
waves.
At random people.
That tracks.
Fair enough. A couple of people give you a confused look and kind of wave back. And they're like, were you waving at me? Look behind them. Oh, sure. Hi. And the train accelerates away from the station. You don't really feel it. You only actually realize it's moving because there's like a ding above to tell you that the train is in motion, and you can see the caverns outside. Whenever there is light, you can see them whipping by at an unprecedented speed. You don't think you've ever been on a transit this fast, aside from the Shard of Acheron.
Misa will not look outside. She feels kind of uneasy. Just being the fact that she can't feel it moving. And God, that's going fast. She's just going to coil somewhere,
Is
and
Misa
unfortunately take up a lot of space.
Are you getting motion sick, Misa?
She has never been on something going this fast where she could see outside.
Misa gets motion sickness.
So what she's going to do, she's going to coil herself and duck her head where she cannot see anything.
As
Can't
you're,
see
Meanwhile,
it, it's
Hessa
not
and
happening.
Mia are like the unsupervised children running around the train.
Join me. Be the child.
But yeah, also Misa can't really go anywhere easily without being an inconvenience in her mind because she's so fucking big. So she's not gonna bother.
Is there a dining car? Can I bring
Yeah.
Lisa a snack? Maybe
Yeah.
something light or something good for tummy troubles.
There's a dining car. It sells a couple different types of tea, like. And when you ask, like, is there anything good for somebody who's motion sickness, the drow behind kind of gives you like a, oh, yeah, I see. For a friend, I'm guessing?
Yes, she's very big, so we might need a large cup.
Oh, sure, yeah, of course. Can you get a Chuki Tento? Oh, I don't... Sure, why not? But it's some kind of weird Underdark critter. Probably like a bug or something.
Yeah, Misa's just gonna sit there. She's having a time.
You are gifted a large, light-tasting tea that does help you feel not sick.
She will be very, very happy about that. She won't move because she is afraid that that's just going to make it worse.
As Crick
Mira will,
gives you like
pull out an extra blanket, kind of drape it over you, so you have like your little tent, so you can sip your tea without seeing the windows.
as Crick gives you a knowing look, and he goes, yeah, it's pretty bad, especially on your first time. You'll get used to it if you ride them a lot, but just...
These were like, if you showed this to me when I was alive, I would have told you that you were insane.
They probably didn't exist then, so yeah.
Oh no, that was a couple thousand years ago.
Oh,
No.
Certainly not then.
If someone had told me, yes, this would exist, I would have said, you need to go see a cleric. Goodbye.
Well, there's all sorts of interesting things down here, so I guess prepare to be amazed.
Oh dear.
Expect the unexpected.
Yeah, she's like Captain America.
She's like, oh god.
What is all of these sheep?
Interwebs.
What is going on?
The train ride is probably 14 hours or so. It's long.
Oh,
You spend the whole day.
just out for the count the entire time. She's just coiled one place.
You make sure that folks who need to eat do eat something. I
As-
guess Misa doesn't actually need to eat, so if you're not feeling up to it, that's fine.
As Crick draws the curtains on the windows in your car to try and block out the outside.
She appreciates it greatly.
You're allowed to just, like, have food from the dining car. They don't charge you. It's free to ride the train.
Sweet.
Yeah, it doesn't cost anything.
Out of curiosity, do they have like the souvenir things, like little decks of cards, or
No,
like the
not
stuff
really.
they have on the Amtrak?
I don't think so, no.
Darn.
But at the end of that... Listen. Free public transit with free food, listen. The Underdark's a good place, you know? That's just how it is.
Damn right it is.
Yeah, it's great.
But at the end of the 14 hours, the train announces that you are arriving at the City Unseen. Which is, as Crick kind of perks up and he goes, oh, that's our stop. I mean, the train keeps going, but that's where we need to get off. And he...
Or Mir kind of goes around Rod's party and makes sure that Mia says okay to be ready to move soon.
I will be ready to move, whether I want to or not.
Rip.
Aw.
I have no choice. I will just be going either way. But thank you.
Yeah, they notify you half an hour in advance and then 15 minutes in advance. And about 15 minutes, as Crick, he gives you a regretful look, Misa, and then he tells the rest of you, if you like the views, you might want to, well, I guess take a look outside as we come in. The city
Yeah,
is...
we'll just draw a thing. If need be, she'll like drape the curtain over the back of her head so that she can still block the window from Misa,
no.
but like just be staring
Misa's
out.
going to make a bad decision and look outside anyway.
For a moment, all you see is the close cavern walls of the tunnel whipping by, but those disappear and you see before you a city, like that which you have never seen before. Oh, this track has crickets in it. Damn it. A city like that which you have never seen before. It is carved out of the stone of this place. I don't have a picture, unfortunately. It is carved out of the stone. There are arching bridges that have, like, vertebra sort of patterns to them, carved out of the rock. There are these impossibly weird towers, and you're wondering how on earth they're standing until you realize they are connected to the roof of the cavern, either by the rock itself or by these long pieces of white webbing that have held them in place. It is a light with all sorts of lights. You can see the flicker of flames, but you also see a great deal of colored lights all throughout the city, and in fact, you see above the city there's a large sort of construction of these strands of effectively light that you see pouring in towards the city from various directions. There's one that comes from your direction. There's a couple, actually. There's one that's blue, one that is purple, and one that is, I believe, I think that might be it. I think it might just be blue and purple from south, but you can see there's red and orange and yellow coming from the west, and they all converge on this city and sort of tie themselves together in this braid of light that then falls down into the city, where you assume it is separated out, and the various strands of light are woven into buildings and homes and roads and bridges and streetlights. The city is alive with this color. You do see there is one strand which is... it almost looks like it's not shedding any color until you realize it has a sort of blackish glow to it. Yes, this place is built completely on fiber optics.
Holy shit.
They keep spiders as pets here. It depends on the spider. And the train track sort of curves around and heads towards the city. And so you get a really good long look at it until it starts to sort of enter the outer reaches of the city, where there are more newer buildings and slightly less light. And then it goes through those, underneath a couple of bridges, and finally into the city proper. There is light everywhere around you. You did not expect this much light in the Underdark. But here you are.
This
looks
does
especially...
admittedly make me so, like, vaguely nauseous, but not, like... not enough to cause any negative consequences for her looking outside. She's just like, oh, that's pretty.
It has light everywhere. You do actually notice that below part of the city, which sits on a cliff, there is a large lake as well. But you have arrived in the city unseen. The spiders might be citizens, depending on which spiders.
Love it.
Tessa looks so excited. Like, she's looking at everything, trying to figure out how the buildings work, just everything.
The architecture is a bit screwy because they can just hold things up from above. So sometimes things are, like, ridiculously top-heavy, and you're like, that doesn't make any sense. It would fall over, and then you realize it's suspended from the ceiling.
That's so cool, though!
As Crick beckons you out when the train stops, and he says, "Well, this is our stop. Let's come on. I can show you to to a place where you'll be staying, and to, of course, the Webmother's audience. Though that'll probably be tomorrow. It's a bit late now."
Mir, by the way, is like full on tourist walker, has to be nudged along because she keeps stopping to look around. Like, I grew up with a city that was partly underground, but was never this bright, and they're so cool.
Yeah, the Underdark is, it's unique. I grew up here as well. He kind of gestures at himself, you might have guessed that. There's nowhere like it, anywhere near the surface. And this is just one city in the Webmother's domain. I mean, other cities throughout the Underdark are also like this. Just as beautiful. Although I think this one wins. How do you know if it is night?
This...
There is a clock. Doesn't matter, though.
Is this the main city
Well...
of the Underdark?
Well, no. It's the Webmother's capital. But the other gods have their own domains. And their capitals are, of course, clustered around their suns, so... That's...
Huh.
This one is built around the Black Sun, so... This is where we all live.
Alright.
Is there anything you would like to do in the city? You have the evening to yourselves before your audience the next day.
Can I find someplace that sells souvenirs?
Sure.
Yes.
Yes.
This
Gotta
isn't
send
really...
something home to Grandma.
There's not a whole lot of tourist culture here because the Underdark generally doesn't let people in. Due to the whole biosecurity thing. It's very hard to get clearance to come here. They do not let people just wander in and out. But you can find some stuff that is reminiscent of the Underdark. A lot of, in this place specifically, there's a lot of, like, silk. There's a lot of silk products. You do get a lot of weird looks. Most people here are drow. Almost all of them.
Misa will explore a little bit.
Can I spell the city's name? Well, yes, but...
Funny you should ask.
It's funny you should ask, yeah.
Oh boy.
People call it the City Unseen, but its name is, it wasn't named by the drow. It was originally named by the spider servants of the Webmother, so it's, let's see here.
Oh boy. This sounds like a long word. Oh my.
I was gonna say, this is gonna be get the cooker all over again.
Yeah.
How do you say that, Falcon?
Spictskistlemistrix, actually.
What the fuck?
You were...
Reminds me of the time we made you try to pronounce planets on a live stream.
You were too prepared for that.
Really?
Yeah.
How long did you practice that?
A couple days.
I love you. You're also a dork. I love you.
God. I was
yeah.
also not ready.
You know.
Holy shit.
Now I need it one more time, please.
Spictskistlemistrix.
All right.
Please tell me you were recording that. Anyway, so as much as Temp would like to just go vibe, hey, he's actually gonna go to Zakrow.
Oh?
Hey, Zakrow. Hey, so I know how much you love pastries, right? But what I'm thinking is, how about we go exploring for some food? Like, you know, try out some of the regional dishes. Exactly.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
glad I'm not the only one who's thinking with their stomach right now.
For sure.
God. It's like a fucking Studio Ghibli exploration.
It is. As Crick, before he lets you run off, he takes you to like a hotel where you'll be staying. If the rooms were like lined up for you, you do have to pay for these. These are not free, but you're tourists, you're visitors. You have to pay for stuff. But they
How
do.
much do these cost?
I think like he probably got you a group price or something.
Here, I'll pull up the... I'm sure they have it in the player's handbook for, like, accommodations.
Just give them like
Let's look.
10 gold each for rooms for the night.
10 gold each?
10 gold per room per night. Math.
I'll share if I need to. I assume a few of us will be sharing.
Probably.
Damn, this is expensive in-stay.
Well, it's a fancy ass city.
Mm-hmm.
I know, but like... The aristocratic in-stay, the highest level of the player's handbook is 4 gold pieces.
I also.
Hopefully
Listen,
food's
you know.
included.
We're tourists.
I know, just like, we spent so much of our money on magic items.
Misa will volunteer to just hole up in in like a fucking closet or like
As
storage
Crit goes,
space.
no. No.
I mean, they're good,
Hessa
No.
also like grabs your hand. No.
but I do not need to sleep, so I do not need a room. That.
I mean, I think it might be unnerving to have someone just standing in a corner for.
Oh no, I was going to just like sit down and read something. I think.
Right. He looks vaguely worried.
Okay, we have some for the party. For at least a couple of days after that, we are low funds.
Misa will pitch the rest of the gold she has for it. So that's another 30 gold for it. 34, actually.
How many rooms are we getting?
Misa does not think that she will be allowed to just not require a room, so
You can just stand at someone else's room.
yeah.
You can stand in mine.
Cool.
Just standing in the corner. That sounds so creepy.
Oh no, she'll coil up and just like.
Ah, yes, that makes it so much better.
It's so much better
Wake
when
up
you're
in the middle
coiled
of
up
the
watching
night.
me sleep.
Wake up in the middle of the night and there's just like this giant lump in the corner of the room.
Corner snake is watching you sleep.
I mean, I don't know how many beds are in each room. Maybe he has to just like sleeps on top of me. So there's a blanket over one of the coils. passes
I
out.
mean, that is. She could do that.
You cannot. I have my own pillows. She can try. God damn it.
I get the 3 rooms. Will that cover folks? I think we could manage that.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I will take 30 gold pieces from the party funds to pay for that.
Alright. Desire can pay for his own.
We're forcing to bunk with this guy for forced family bonding time.
Oh lord. Alright. So, with your rooms sorted, you are now free to just do whatever.
They sell silks. They have like.
So what I'm hearing is it's culinary adventure time.
Well, that too.
Yeah,
Dinner
absolutely.
or whatever meal. This time of time. It's just a time of day, but there's a day.
There's various places that sell different types of food. You don't really know what, like, breakfast versus dinner is in this city, or if that even has any sort of relevance.
Who cares?
Misa will just go exploring.
Why do we need to care about what, what time the food is for?
How is
I've
timekeeping done in this city?
We find a fantasy Denny's. Breakfast all day!
It's tracked via, sort of, oh, what's the term? Pulses, I suppose? Not really. Like a breathing pattern, almost, of the sun. The nearby sun. The undersun. It glows brighter or dimmer in cycles, and they track passage of time by that.
Oh.
But yeah, you can have cheesecake for breakfast. Who cares?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Excellent.
Fuck the police. Have cheesecake for dinner.
Exactly.
breakfast. I really futzed that one up. Nobody heard that.
All right. Those of you who are going on a culinary adventure, roll investigation, please.
Oh yeah.
Misa's
The one-
just exploring. She's not.
Oh boy. Oh boy. I'm glad I asked Zachary out along on this. Wow.
That bad?
Well, I rolled a 7, but with my modifier, it's a 5
Rip.
because it's
I
an
got a 15,
intelligence skill.
but with my modifier, I get a 14.
God.
So a 5, a
Both of you.
14, and a 26.
Right. Zachrow leads the way on this expedition.
Honestly, that's part of the reason I asked for him to come along.
He's better at following his nose than either of the two of you. See, as one of you is, I guess, easily distracted, and the other one is a bird.
Yeah.
And birds are not known for their sense of smell, gotta say. But Zachrow, you sniff things out, you ask people for instructions, for recommendations, etc. And you can find several different sort of stores that sell food. You find restaurants, you find little, like, for lack of a better word, street vendors, I guess, with their stands. You going for, like, a sit-down experience or, like, a wandering one?
I say street food. Yeah.
Wandering tapas, alright.
That's the way to go, honestly, in any city.
You
It's true.
rock up to one of the street stands and are like, hey, we're going to wander around, and we need food for wandering around. And this drow goes, all right. And they very quickly, on their, like, sort of, like, mobile grill, I guess. It's one of the ones that's flat. That's not grills.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a grill top that's flat. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great.
Yeah.
Griddle?
Griddle, that's the word. Yes. Nope, that's not what a barbecue is. Take your Aussie definition and get out of here.
Yeah.
When they say barbecue in Australia, they mean an electric griddle.
What the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. My thoughts exactly.
How dare you?
Hey, Todd. Hey, Todd. What the
Todd.
fuck?
It makes no goddamn sense.
I blame Todd Howard.
Always blame Todd Howard.
It's free and at the beach
I
and
mean, they
also locked to the ground.
That's fucking bizarre.
It's very weird. So, you rock up to this thing and you watch them sort of throw some stuff onto their griddle with a metal spatula, and they make a sort of, like a taco filling almost, only you can see that what they've made it out of appears to be some kind of pale eel,
Ooh.
and some unagi. No, man, baby. It's like a pale eel, and there's also, like, these little tiny leafed herbs that they sprinkle in there, as well as some other assorted...
Mushrooms?
Yes. Some assorted mushrooms. Stole the word from me. This is a mushroom-heavy place. It's mushroom, fish, and
I
bug-heavy.
couldn't tell if you were struggling to find the noun or not.
I was.
It
Happens
happens.
to the best of us.
Yep.
And it also happens to me.
Yeah, the best of us.
The worst of
Aw.
us.
The best of us.
The best of us.
Don't do this.
We
I
will
don't
not
need to
allow
be
the
today.
self-depreciation.
The last of us. And this drow scoops up an amount of this mixture, this eel and mushroom and herb mixture, and they put it in this, like, tortilla, almost. And they wrap it in, like, a cone shape, and they pop it in this little paper cone, and they give it to you. Give them, like, 3 silver for it or something.
Sure.
It is hot, and it smells great.
Yes.
I also think maybe we ought to take a break pretty soon.
Yeah.
So, should we do that now and then come back and do more food? Because you're
I
actually hungry.
think so.
Never-ending food.
Let's go get some food ourselves, and then we can hear more about food.
For sure.
Exactly.
Good point.
Alrighty.
Food good.
See you back here in 10 minutes.
Alright.
Yep.
All right.
That works.
Oh, I love the Underdark. I love the Underdark a lot. Alright. Sadly lacking in proper soundtracks for it, though. I've got a lake one and a Cavern of Lost Souls one, which I'm not using. I don't have a sci-fi cavern one, though. Oh, wait, there's a sci-fi tab on Tabletop Audio. Ooh. Hmm. Alright. I am back. I'll go get everybody. I'm gonna try all this soundtrack really quick. This is pretty good. This'll do. Kind of weird. Maybe not sure if this one actually functions for what I want. I suppose we'll just have to wait. Maybe Orbital Promenade. We'll leave it on this for now. Let's go get my players. Hello?
Yellow.
Hello?
Hey.
Hello?
LeBron James.
You woo.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
Alright.
Mr. Obama.
Alright,
dinner.
well.
Ooh, what do you have?
Cheesy Italian pasta and garlic bread.
So that.
Alright. So, we continue. A couple of you are still on the roam, I suppose, for things.
You're on the tasting quest.
Yes. So what else, aside from your eel taco, are you going for?
I don't know.
Are there any interesting fruits?
I mean, I'm thinking like maybe some drinks. Definitely a pastry or two. For
Okay.
Drink and dessert?
Our resident cat.
For sure. Yeah, there are drinks. A lot of you visit some restaurants and other locations. A lot of drinks are wines, actually. And they sell a good number of fruits that they use to craft these wines. And it seems that down here, specifically in the City Unseen, or just Unseen as it's called, they grow plants that thrive on the light from the black sun.
Interesting.
And a lot of those have really good fruits.
What's the customs rule on me bringing back a bottle of wine for my grandma?
Oh, you can bring back whatever you want.
What's the customs rule on bringing back different seeds?
You can take out things if you want. They don't give a shit. It's not their problem.
Oh, I think I'd like to get some seed action going on. Maybe see if we can't grow them on the surface.
Okay. Mushroom fermented drink. Is
Ooh,
there...
What if you could replicate the light enough that they would grow? That would be
You can certainly try.
Yeah.
They-
Look, I've got what? Temp's like 150. He's got a couple 100 years to work on this stuff.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Retirement plan.
And I mean, he can ask for he can go to the university and ask the
Zara is a
department
drow,
for
so
tips and tricks.
fair. That's true.
Yeah. You're set.
That's true. Might be able to get what you need there.
Yeah.
Alright. No. If you put it under the actual sun, it will die.
Yeah, I figured this much.
But if you make, like, a underground greenhouse of sorts, you might be able to manage it.
It's not something that, like a certain level down, sort of. Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Alright. So, yeah, you can hunt down some, I guess, florists, herbologists, green growers, though it's not really green down here.
Nursery.
A plant nursery, yeah.
Yeah.
You can find that here. People are pretty proud of their weird Underdark plants, and they know that
Maybe.
these plants could not thrive on the surface without a lot of effort, so they're not really worried about revealing secrets or whatever. Yeah, they've got these like weird. They look kind of like grapes, They've got sort of apple-ish fruits, things that are rather like eggplants. All of these are like weird vining plants that tend to climb up walls and stick their tendrils into crevices of the rock and whatnot.
Love it.
Yeah. Ideally, I'd like to grab, say, a basket. There we go. No, like a bag or so of each.
Okay, yeah. The folks at the nursery tell you that people grow these from seedlings because they're a bit difficult to get started, but if you want to take it up to the surface, you're definitely going to have to go from seeds.
Yeah.
And also seeds are stable, so you can carry them with you and then plant them when you're done adventuring or whatever. Yeah, you can buy seed packets for these, for sure. You can get seed packets for a number of different Underdark fruits and vegetables.
We only have 14 gold handy, so let's just grab. I don't know how many can I grab? Will we say, Phil?
Well, seeds are very cheap.
True.
In real life too. I mean, it's $1 for a packet of seeds.
I mean, yeah.
So
So I can probably grab whatever I want, really.
Yeah, just grab whatever you want.
All right. Let's say like 5 or 6 different varieties.
Okay, that'll probably end up being like 1.5 gold.
Yeah, seeds are ridiculous. Like, for saffron bulbs, it's like $10 for a bag of them.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but they can't grow it except in very particular environments.
Like my state, they can grow here.
Yeah.
course
Seeds
they can.
are cheap.
Oh. Even for plants that go for a lot of money for what they produce.
The nursery folks, they obviously know you're from the surface, and they're like, you know what? Let me know if this venture succeeds, and they toss in some handwritten instructions and care guides
Aww.
Nice.
for you just to try and give you a leg up. They just want to know if it works.
Yeah.
Share the cool plants.
Oh yeah. Granted, it's gonna be hard to get. Oh wait, no, we have sending stones we can use for that sort of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. What else are you looking for down here?
Is there somewhere that sells like silks?
Oh, everywhere.
Yes.
There is a thriving weaving community. It's the Webmother's realm.
I
So
guess.
shocked.
Oh, did we have a price for the bottle of wine for me to send back to home?
Just toss out like 5 silver or something.
And then yes, I'm going to acquire silk and yarn threads or something for making stuff.
All right. What do we do normally for you buying yarn?
Usually, I just say I'm dumping this much money into it, which assume that I have an endless that I just replenish my supply as I hand out things to NPCs.
That's fair. Yeah. Then,
Just say I spend 10 gold on yarn.
yeah, sure. It's
It's
not yarn really. It's not yarn. It's silk. But it's very weird to hold and work with. I mean, it's clearly spider silk. Like, that's obvious. And it's not sticky to the touch, really. I mean, it's not soft like yarn is. It's smooth. It's thinner than yarn, and it's not strands twisted together. It's like a singular line, wound and knotted into a skein. It's not soft, just smooth. You feel like if you wove something out of this, it would make armor, probably. But you'd have to be very good at weaving.
Also, like, they sell, like, scarves or something small that I could also get for
Oh, sure, yeah.
some of those.
There's, like chainmail, a bit, yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be as good as metal, probably. But
Oh,
it's
wait,
silk, it's
so,
strong.
So like the silk that the Mongols used,
I'm not familiar.
they use silk because arrows won't pierce through silk. They catch on the silk strands.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't
they
know
made,
that.
they made layers with their armor with silk.
Neat.
Because the wouldn't let arrows pass through.
Yeah,
It was woven.
like that. It's
Worm's too
interesting
powerful.
stuff. You realize now that a lot of the clothes here are also made of silk. A lot of people's clothes are made from silk of various spiders, or maybe even silkworms. There's lots of different types of silk, different thicknesses from different types of spiders and whatnot.
I want to buy 2 scarves. One to send home to my aunt who likes to weave,
Mhm.
and one that matches my like fancy robes.
Okay.
Back to the plain fire.
Yeah, one dyed in, what was it, like a light blue, I want to say?
I think there's different shades of blue. Like the dress was more of a.
Oh, did it have
Got
a
a drawing
gradient?
somewhere.
I don't remember what it looked like, but I know there was blue. Blue and gold, and probably maybe white. Don't remember.
Got a drawing based on your description. Hang
By
on.
the way, did Mir take Misa's offer for money for the stay?
I don't think so. I took it out of the party funds.
Yes.
Okay.
Hensa would have paid it if we needed it, so either or.
Fair enough. Yeah. The Misa's out exploring as well, but not for food. She can't really taste, so what's the point?
Yeah, that's true. Rip.
Unless
Hessa,
it smells really strongly, what's the point? Because swallows stuff whole.
Yup.
Found the drawing I did based on your description.
Ah, so it was
Aw.
blue. Yes.
Love the bird.
Okay, yeah, alrighty. Yeah, you can absolutely get a scarf to match that. You get like a more filmy thing that will match with that shawl, in like a silver and a dark blue. Again, made of silk.
And how much do those cost?
Throw out like 7 gold or something for him. You realize silk is pretty plentiful here. Silk stuff isn't going to cost that much.
Yeah, I'm tempted to just like buy a few schemes of this to try experimenting with.
For sure. Go for it.
Mir resists the urge to just like open the bag of holding and be like, fill her up.
Right?
I wanted to do 2 things.
That's a very
Well,
good urge.
Yeah, Misa is setting out with a goal, and Hessa, at least for part of it, came with her.
Yeah, Hessa's following her around, but I did want to do 2 things.
Okay, hit me.
One, are there like people on the street like doing like stuff for money, like stand-up comedy or like
buskers?
playing an instrument? Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Can Hessa do something? I'm gonna try and make the party money without stealing. So honestly, you should all be impressed.
Like,
I'm
yes.
just proud of you already.
Okay.
That's the first time you've ever done that.
I've got knives. My thought is juggling knives.
Okay.
What do you
Oh
think?
boy.
And
This can only
have
go forward.
Egg do like a little dance.
Okay.
Egg is dancing at your feet, and you are
Yes.
Dancing weasel.
Hell yeah.
dancing weasel.
Okay. Sure, yeah. I'll need you to roll me 2 checks. One, just like a flat dex, and then 1 performance.
Someone pick a number, 1 through 6.
3.
That is the D20 I'm using. I hope you didn't mess me up. Oh, you didn't! I got a 20!
A natural 20?
Yeah!
Is this on the dex or the performance?
Yeah.
What was the first one
It
you
was
said?
dex.
I'll just go with that. Dex it is.
Okay, you don't drop
Okay,
any
so
knives.
You don't fuck yourself up. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, because... Oh boy, one more. 14? What do I add to that? What are we doing?
Performance.
18.
All right. You
Oh,
take your
fuck.
daggers, and you head to a street
One
corner.
of them is very clean.
One of them is
One of your, yeah, you have a very clean, sparkly dagger that you love a
It is
lot.
my favorite.
It's your favorite
It is
dagger.
my baby.
It's
it's
not magic or
almost-
anything, but it's your favorite, and you
It's
love it.
almost better than Flicker, honestly.
You love that damn dagger. Yeah, you take up a random street corner. There's a nearby musician who moves over, is like, "Oh, sure, go ahead." When you kind of nod to him, like, "Can I do things here?" He nods back, and you pull out your daggers and you start doing tricks. You are very focused on this, and you don't drop any, nor do you accidentally stab your familiar, which is
Nice.
who's
good.
dancing at your feet.
Who is dancing at your feet. Egg sort of notices what you're doing, and then starts to, like, mess around and, like, do little dances on her own, and then start, like, running around you to try and attract attention. When people do notice, they watch you for a little bit, and then do you have, like, a box or something to collect money?
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna use my vase.
Your
The
vase?
one I stole from
Oh
Strahd.
my god.
It had ashes, but no
God.
longer. It's clean.
Yeah, you
It's
gave the
basically
ashes to
clean.
somebody. I
It's
think you
clean
gave them to the
now.
scientists.
What was the very clean knife from? I feel like I'm forgetting.
She found it in the
I
I don't
forest.
know what you're talking about. It's just my very
Dynasty.
clean knife.
Okay.
The drow who was doing music actually wanders over and starts to, like, play with you.
Nice.
He's like, "Can we team up here?
As
Might
a
get us
gift
both
up.
something." Haha.
Hell yeah.
Lisa's so proud of her fucking niece right now.
Legally.
So
Legally making money.
I will roll some d10s for money.
Nice.
Oh shit, D10s.
A
Hell
d10 for
yeah.
teamwork, a d10 for dex, and a d10 for performance. Great job.
Yes.
Not bad, not bad.
Did you say a D10 for compliance?
For friend? No, I didn't.
Okay.
Ew.
Let me do math inside my head.
So sorry.
You get 19 gold for this.
Nice.
Oh,
Because
God.
after your violinist friend, let's call him a violinist, wanders over and joins you, you will end up, like, splitting what you make, because you
Yeah.
together attract more attention than either of you alone.
Yeah.
So once you kind of call it quits, you split your earnings in half and go your separate ways.
Thank you,
In-
friend.
Incredible.
He bows to you with a flourish of his bow.
Tessa will do the same.
You don't have a bow, but you do your best.
Yep.
Well,
You have
no, does
knives.
Hessa have any sort of ranged weapon?
Or just the knives.
Just knives.
Knives.
Just more knives.
She'll try and bow as well.
You bow back. He
There you
Roll
go.
the knives with your hands as you bow.
Hell yeah.
he grins and he slings his violin case over his shoulder and wanders off.
Nice.
You have 19
Never to be
gold.
seen again.
Not in this campaign, nope. I'll bring him back next time. And I'll be like, remember that drow who played the violin?
He's the bad guy. He's the villain of the second campaign.
Turns out he's a necromancer now.
Oh no.
Just assumed it was a different one of Falcon's characters.
No, he's just kind of there. I made him up. Just now.
New friend.
New friend.
You earned 19 gold.
Yes.
I'm just so proud of you.
Thank you.
She's just like,
She doesn't have
you
any
did an
tricks to really
employment!
do.
Level up!
Like, unless Misa can do, like, strength tricks, she's got nothing.
Stand on the street
Ooh, we
corner and
could-
flex.
We could do something with that.
Is that all you guys are doing for tonight?
Misa had a thing that she wanted to do, and there was something else that Hessa wanted to do.
Okay. Oh yeah, Hessa, you want to do a second thing. What was it?
I just wanted to go to find like trinkets at a shop.
I think probably doing knife performance is gonna take up your entire evening.
Yeah.
That's
I'll look for
better.
that
You
another
can
time.
look before you leave.
Sure.
Um,
Mm.
Misa
Yeah.
will Misa's on the down low, trying to find something to send back to Virix.
To whom? Oh, Virix.
Virix.
Sorry, took me a second to parse
Yeah.
the name. Yeah. Such as?
Since they've been having conversations, for several days now,
Uh-huh.
what would Misa think might be the best, thing to get Virix? Like, what would Virix like if she can find something?
Virix is a dragon.
Yes.
If there is anything shiny, she will have a weak spot for it.
Shiny we go.
There's plenty of silks. But I guess, let me think. It's the
Either
best thing that
something
you could
shiny
find.
or like a very shimmering tapestry. So I really
Yeah.
like JD's idea for like a gorgeous tapestry. Oh, JD.
You shine in the colors of the rainbow. What did you expect? Yeah, I
Oh
think
God, you're right.
a silken tapestry that has these sort of woven metallic threads in it would
Yeah.
definitely catch her eye. For sure.
Misa will look for something like that. If it, since the temple is around a lot of water, she'll try to find something that won't die if it touches water.
Silk.
'Cause that would just be tragic.
I think spider silk is probably pretty hardy when it comes to, you know, waterproofing.
Fair. Also, this is, you know, fantasy silk, so
Yes.
God knows.
Special. It's magic. It's magic, so it don't get dirty.
A
Yeah.
magic, so it won't disintegrate in water. Wonderful.
Yeah, I don't think you really need super to roll for that because it's a city built by spiders. So
Yeah.
there's silk everywhere. You probably have to go through a couple of shops, but you can find the lowest priced tapestry you can find that is as shiny and beautiful as you like is probably about 20 gold.
Misa doesn't even think about it. Misa's just like, okay,
All right. You purchase
track most of her money.
I mean, this is
for sure.
Let's be real.
It's actually very interesting. There's those threads of light running through the shop that you're in, and when you bring it up to the counter, the shopkeeper spreads it out underneath a thread of that weird black glowing one, and these patterns that you couldn't see on it before just light up. You couldn't. They were completely invisible to you, and it was in these sort of abstract designs. But when you lay it underneath that black thread, these splotches of color appear, and they form the shape of a great spider.
I adore that.
Misa's having such a fucking good time, and god damn it, so am I.
It's very good, yeah.
Yeah, it only shows up under black light.
Like,
I don't know if you'll be able to get one of those in the overworld, but who knows?
Virix will have to figure it out. Misa only has so much money.
Yeah, that's fair. You can buy
Misa
a...
has 14 gold to her name.
You might be able
Spend
to...
all things to keep us from not dying, okay?
You might be able to purchase, like, a chunk of fiber optic webbing that is imbued with light. I bet people have those, right? That seems like a thing that people would have.
Yeah, like, yeah, I would assume so. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Like,
seems...
upgrades for new hub, whatever.
Yeah. I don't think all of the web would be... I mean, they probably would sell inert chunks, but I don't see why they wouldn't enchant some of them to always shed light.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, JD. I put a lot of work into this world.
Yeah, your world building makes me jealous.
I try. I want it to be good for you.
And it is.
Huzzah. Alright. How much do you think one of those blacklight lamps would cost? Probably depends on the size, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if we go off of a lantern in the player's handbook, let's say like double the price of that, maybe,
Sure.
because it's specialized.
Okay, yeah, I'm into it. How much is a lantern?
Let me go look. I don't normally keep the player's handbook open, is the thing.
Yeah, no worries. I don't either.
So
A lantern, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Bullseye lantern is 10 gold
hooded
pieces. Hooded lantern is
lantern.
5 gold pieces.
Okay, so 10.
And it seems pretty
Okay. Yeah, Misa, you can spend another 10 gold if you want to get a chunk of this, like, glassy feeling... It's like a disc. It's like a slice out of a web thread, and it's about as wide across as your hand. And it glows with that purplish, blackish light.
I just want you to know that there is an entry in the...
she will hear
Well, one at a time.
the
And
number and just go, okay,
alrighty.
go ahead.
And Skylark?
I just want you all to know that there is, in fact, under the trade goods section in the player's handbook, a price for 1 square yard of silk or 1 cow. It's apparently the same price. At least in the open world. I guess
Okay.
wine silk
Why
is
is
cheaper
that the
down
same
here,
price?
but cows,
Weird.
Genuine Brahman.
similarly,
Also,
the
yeah,
line below it is for 1
these are-
pound of saffron or 1 ox.
Right?
1 pound of saffron.
Yeah,
That's right.
but those are trade goods. I think those are different.
Yeah.
I know.
Saffron's
It just
expensive.
amused me.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Trade goods are weird in D&D.
Misa
Yeah.
will not balk at the price.
Okay.
Misa now has 4 gold, but that's fine.
That's how it goes.
She will take these and ferret them away somewhere.
For sure. You can store them
Right.
back in the rooms.
She's trying to hide them.
From who?
So, like, she's just embarrassed.
Aww.
She is just embarrassed.
Hessa is most definitely just like, so that's for your girlfriend? Huh? Huh? Hey, Misa.
Misa will constrict you for a joke out of, like, big spite.
That's a
It is
wiggle.
the sibling Cain instinct.
So
Automatic.
I guess it is for your girlfriend.
The squeezing continues.
Oh, rip.
Lost someone.
Misa wants to get that serpent
Lost Skylark.
smooch.
Misa will swear you to secrecy.
Oh, Lord.
It's all swarms then, isn't it?
My question is, does anybody else have things that they intend to do that evening?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Where did Skylar go?
We lost Skylark, and I'm not sure where to. Skylark, come back.
JD, no. JD, no.
What?
Just realized.
JD, you're so right.
Oh,
JD,
yeah,
no.
responding to that. Yeah,
JD, yes.
boy.
Oh my.
If you intend to purchase a live chicken, you will have to deal with that. Ah, there we are. Skylark's back.
Welcome.
It's the Underdark. Yeah, they have...
Is it like those white chickens in Stardew Valley?
No, they have, creatures that are taxonomically avian.
Oh.
But they resemble moles,
Oh, I love it.
and they kind of wander around.
But yeah, Misa will swear you to secrecy. So, I just.
Fine.
Thank you.
Alright, anything else for the evening?
Moles and bulls.
I think we're good.
All right. So you can spend the evening at the hotel where you have sort of been given lodgings, and come the morning, Ascrick meets you downstairs in the lobby after breakfast, which is like a flake cereal that they have that. Does not taste like cereal though, and you're fairly certain it's not made with wheat.
Made with meat. It's
Probably made with cricket flour.
I liked my answer better, actually.
Yeah, we now lost Echo.
Me
Did you say
I
cricket
can't.
flour?
Yes,
taste, so
Alpha, you're
Rip.
roboting.
damn it.
Try something new.
Source you haven't-
Ripperoni.
cricket flour. So you got cricket cereal, cricket
Is
pancakes
it
probably.
any better?
I don't know.
Rip.
Maybe a little. Oh, okay, that's fine.
That's fair.
So, Ascrick will meet you in the morning, and he will tell you the Webmother knows you're coming, and she even mostly knows why.
Yeah.
She's willing to see you, and your appointment is around about noon. So he can take you to the sort of antechamber near her son, and you can wait until it's your appointed time.
Mir, by the way, is going to dress up in her fancy robes under her armor.
Ascrick hears that you mean to do that, and he goes,
Hello.
"Wait, well, you're going to have to, the radiation. You're going to have to wear a suit anyway, and so
What?
you're going to have to put something over your clothes anyways.
Oh,
Worst
okay.
year-
So, sorry. You won't. She
Worst
won't.
day ever.
Yes, I'm sorry. I realize that you have to have your chest bared to the elements for medical reasons, but unfortunately, the radiation is also a medical
Not for
reason.
medical reasons, and I will never claim so because that is a falsehood.
We don't want you getting burnt, is all. I mean, you can. Well, I suppose you can deny it if you really desire, but you might.
Oh no, I'm not turning anything down on stupid medical reasons. That would be really, really dumb. And I don't understand people who would even think of doing that.
Yeah, neither do
After
I.
all, isn't
Oh,
it better
boy.
to be safe?
Am I sensing certain shade at a certain video game?
This sounds like an
So,
analogy.
No, I'm just talking about Minecraft, guys.
Oh, of course.
Minecraft. Yeah.
My brain
Nothing
went to
to
Mass
do with
Effect.
real life.
Thane
Yeah,
and
no.
his. I must have this chest window for my breathing.
I think it's about masks.
Also, well, before leave the hotel, Emisa will pull Mir to the side and go, I would like you to store something for me. If that is alright, in a little bag.
Okay. Am I allowed to know what it is?
And she produces the tapestry and the lamp and the lantern. As far away from everyone else as she can.
Are you gathering this radioactive spider goddess? Partly.
And
Love
yes,
it.
Mir will store it for you. Making sure that's like carefully stowed. The lantern is wrapped up in something.
Thank you very much, little bird.
Zakro, from your research into the Underdark, you know that the Undersuns produce a great deal of light. It's extremely powerful, but it also comes with a heavy dose of random radiation, which is painful and harmful to those who are not adapted to it. The Drow are fine because they've sort of adapted to have that armor-like thick skin, which they.
I was about to say, I'm like, like Mir has been irradiated before and not enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's
God.
the Drow are fine, but you squishy surface dwellers with your sun so far away will need a bit more protection.
Also, JD, thank you for the double pun. Thank you for the double joke there. Cold-blooded and undead.
Ascrick takes you on a, I think a city tram, probably. Not a train, but like a raised, like, you know those, like, trolleys that go over cities when it's like, here's a tourist place. You can sit in this, and it like a sky car?
Cable car?
Yes, that's the one.
But like the elevated.
Yes. Yeah, it's
I know
basically a
what
cable
you
car. Oh, obviously, it's running on silk.
Love it.
And he leads you up the cable car, over the city, and to a large sort of central location. Not where those big threads are coming down through. It's more to the northeast of that. There's like a stone wall that's been built, sort of.
Gondola lift. That's what they're called.
Oh, I didn't
Or
know that.
skyways. Skylifts.
I didn't know they had a name like that. I thought they were just called cable cars.
Okay, well, they're also called aerial tramway.
That one I think I've heard before.
Yeah, that sounds
Or an
familiar.
elevated railway.
Yeah.
Basically, there's multiple things. The other names are probably to distinguish them from, like,
It's
San Francisco-style cable cars that run on the ground.
actually we like to call those the
Yeah.
elevated vibe swings.
God.
Christ.
Vibe check time.
So, are okay. Cable car. Where was I?
Cable car's made of silk, and we were going somewhere.
It
Yeah.
runs. The cables are silk. I think the cable car is probably metal.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, cables on the car is made of silk. Egg in the water, water in the egg on the land. Yeah.
What?
Why is my cat in the water?
What?
I'm
You're
referring
Water
to some
in
kind
the-
of Bill Worth
Oh.
history of everything, I guess, video.
Oh God. Oh, I think. Okay, I think I know what. Oh, with the amphibians. Got it.
Yeah,
Yes.
egg in the water.
That's
yeah.
it. Okay,
My poor weasel.
not here. Oh, maybe here. There might be amphibians in that lake. Who knows?
I don't want to find out.
Remember,
Anyway,
if you
Hopefully
see a
you
filthy
won't.
creature trying to evolve, push it back in.
Oh, no.
What? Okay, we're gonna move on.
Yes.
As we
If
were.
that's fine. All right.
Onwards.
You disembark the cable car next to this large wall that's been built over a cavern opening, and you head through into the interior of a structure. And here, Ascrick tells you, well, okay, so all of you will be fitted with these silvery suits. Misa, I'm not sure exactly what they'll do for you, although your scales might be well enough to withstand it.
She's also already undead.
Oh,
I
that's true.
I am dead. I
Hmm.
do not know how much harm this will do to me.
Uh,
If anything, it might just make me look a little bad.
At the same time, I'd rather not find out how much harm this can do to you, yeah?
well, it's up to you. We could try sort of just draping a
I-
blanket over you.
Exactly. Will it? I'll try it, but if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work anyway. I'll try.
Okay,
I'll give it my best effort.
sure.
She is so large, they will not fit.
They produce for most of you these sort of silvery, crinkly on the outside suits with these clear face masks that you can see through. They don't find one that can fit Disca's wings. There just isn't one there. Same with Desire. They can't fit that in there. So, good luck. They can give you a spare sheet of silvery material to kind of drape over them. Protection from elements. I don't know if that'll work exactly.
We did. There was a
I think we're
protection from
probably getting way
radiation
too
spell
close.
that we found.
It's sunburn that you would be getting effectively.
Yeah, we're
the,
getting way too close to it. I think is the point
Yeah.
here.
It's extremely strong.
Yeah, you're like
I know
getting
at
right
one
in its
point
face.
when we were doing the when we were in the Crystal Desert, we found a scroll of like protection from radiation.
Amusing that you
I
would
don't
find it
think I
there.
actually knew that spell. Lorelai had to read.
No,
the
it was a
scroll.
radiate. It was a damage spell.
We're all Icarus right now. We're flying too close to the sun.
No, there's
Most
some
of
kind
you
of
can
protection spell
be
that
protected,
Lorelei
though.
used.
Protection
that
from
we found,
elements.
before.
I think it was protection from elements, yeah. You could try.
I
I'll
mean,
let you do it, I think, if you want to spend the slots for it.
and they were saying that they could get an extra sheet for our 2 tieflings.
Yeah. You do want to try?
So the
Okay.
main person at risk is the undead one, I think.
I think, I'm pretty sure, now that you bring it up, I think Lorelei did manage to scrap together a protection from radiation in the plane of magma. So you can probably duplicate that if you're willing to just spend all the spell slots for it.
Would protection from energy?
That is
what I have.
the one. Or elements. Well, was it energy or
The
elements?
one what I have and what is written in the player's handbook is protection from energy. I don't see protection from elements.
Then I might have just been misreading JD's protection from whatever. Okay. You misled me, JD. How dare you?
Oh no.
Okay, yes, you can mess with protection from energy. You want to do that on everybody, or?
It only
Misa
seems
would
to work on
suggest
one
that-
creature,
Yeah.
so I'll probably slap it on Misa. Yeah,
Fair enough.
Misa was going to suggest one of the living tieflings that have to. Well, yeah, but their
I thought
wings
they
don't
had
fit in
to.
suits.
I thought they had a thing to put over their
Well,
wings.
No,
will she cover their wings
You
entirely?
can sort of shove a sheet on there, yeah, it's just like draping a towel over something.
Fair enough. Okay, then slap it on Misa, the one who does not fit in any of these.
It's concentration, so I can only do it on one.
Gotcha. Alright. You get suited up in your various ways. And you are allowed into, like, an antechamber, where you are told to wait until her current appointment is up. And you wait. And you wait some more.
Misa's just fidgeting the entire time.
And as you wait, you actually, after probably a good half an hour, you kind of look down this cavern, this tunnel that leads to a different cavern, and you hear someone talking, or like shouting, off in the other chamber. And there's a like a receptionist, and she's kind of waiting, an attendant. And as she hears that, she kind of looks that way, and she goes, "His time is up. It's been up." And she looks to all of you, and she goes, "We will present you, which will force him to leave. Come on."
I can. Yeah, Misa just sort of periscopes up a little bit and says, "If he does not leave, I can try and make him."
Oh, I don't think we'll be needing that exactly, but I appreciate the offer.
Yeah, I can probably just pick him up if nothing else. Probably.
Oh, oh, his bondmate won't let you do that.
Fair enough.
Don't worry. We'll just tell him that it's time to go. He's adamant about his points, and we've already told him we can't help him, but he still returns with his requests.
Perhaps,
Ooh, what is your question?
perhaps
it's-
we can. What is his problem?
You'd have to ask him about it. I just know that he keeps coming here over and over, even though he's been told no. And she leads you down the hallway.
Well, Misa's still fidgeting, but less so.
As you get closer, you can actually hear what this person is saying, and you can make out a few words. At least some of you can. Probably the higher perception of you. So Tiska, Temp, and maybe Zakro and Mir, if you're listening closely.
Yes, Misa's stress eases whenever there is combat potential because she was a soldier.
And you hear this voice, and it's a man's voice, and he goes, "Mother, we cannot do this on our own. We have tried and failed, time and time again, and we are out of options. We need your help." And you hear a pause, and then there's a voice that is strange. You don't know what language it is speaking, and you can't tell. When you try to listen to the words themselves, it's like trying to scoop water with a hairbrush. It doesn't work. It just runs around your mind. but you know
Ah.
exactly what she's saying. You know the meanings. You understand her clearly. You just can't figure out what the words are. And she says, "And again I tell you, Lucian, I am not the master of your domain. Your situation pains me, but I cannot aid you." At that, you come out into an open area. It is a great chamber. It is massive. You see the speaker. It's a drow in violet robes, not the silver suits that you're wearing, and the color is barely visible in the darkness. And, in fact, you actually barely see the base color at all. What you notice, mostly, are the brilliant, glowing swirls and designs on his clothes. Some of them abstract, and others in a strange pattern. It takes a moment for you to see, when he has his back turned to you, that it is the design of an open maw with sharp fangs bared. He's kind of taking up your attention, so it's easy to miss the creature beside him, which is massive and shrouded in shadow. It is a bat. A bat that is large enough to ride. It's sitting in one
Holy-
place, leaning on its wings, just waiting. But obviously the drow and the bat are not the most impressive things in the room. You realize this chamber is only the very lower part of a greater cavern because the ceiling is almost entirely a smooth, convex surface that glows a deep blackish purple color. It's uncomfortably warm, and there are strange vines that grow from the rock at the edges of the cavern, their leaves fluorescing in the undersun's light. And finally, clinging to a bridge of thick strands of silk that run from the surface of the undersun to the rock below it, is the Webmother. She is perched with her front legs stretched out before her and the rest of her limbs folded alongside her body. In this pose, she stretches from abdomen to front paws, the same distance as the nose to tail length of the Shard of Acheron.
Holy shit.
Her carapace looks to be coated in
Okay.
fine black hairs, and the color is impossible to tell. The Webmother herself is absolutely coated in glowing patterns and models, camouflage that would render her invisible in the fluorescent foliage. You do notice there are other spiders in the room. You can see them if you look hard enough. They're crouched in the vines and the moss, almost impossible with their patterning. And you also notice driders, like Azkrik, with their bodies naturally patterned with the fluorescence, and their faces and arms painted with glowing paste. Some of them are armed, all of them are warriors. The drow before you, the purple-robed one, he looks up at the spider again, and he says, "Please, we have tried everything. We need your help." And the Webmother says, "But you do not come with your master's blessing, so I cannot answer your call." It doesn't... Go on.
Two quick things. One, I know you were going for effect, but can you talk slightly louder?
I'm sorry.
About
Yeah.
hearing. The second thing is, do I recognize the symbol he's wearing? I roll like religion or something? If it's-
We got told what the gods were. What
Yes.
the gods of the Underdark were.
Yeah, Zakro, you would recognize it. You guys sat through a lecture on it. It's the symbol of the hunter.
Yeah, Misa.
Ah, yep, there. Okay, there it is.
Yep, claws and
Reading through my
flesh.
notes.
The violet god.
Ever vigilant.
Yes.
Okay, look. Continue.
What? Yes?
Uh,
Sorry, I kind of wrote out a thing here.
I love it. This is great.
The drow, who you gather is Lucian from the voice you heard earlier, he says, "It doesn't have to be official. We just need help. Somebody, anybody, anything you can do."
And Misa will raise her voice. Can we be of assistance?
He whirls around and looks at you, and you see him kind of look up and down at all of you, and he goes, "You. A group of outsiders. I really doubt it.
You would be surprised. It does not sound as though you are going to get anything here.
We'll see about that. And the Webmother says, "Patience, Lucian." And he says, "Patience! We can't be patient while something kills us." And the attendant, who looks vaguely uncomfortable, steps forward and says, your allotted time is up. Your appointment is over." And he looks back at you, and he goes, "I'm losing my time for surface dwellers?" And the Webmother doesn't move, but you do see her, like, sway ever so slightly, and she says, "Lucian, Maurice, step aside and stay. I will hear you further when my business with them is complete." And the drow mutters to himself, and the bat and he step to the side. You are now before the Webmother.
Misa will make a low bow.
Hessa will follow suit.
Same.
It is an honor to meet you. We are the Riftwatchers.
I know of you, children of the Oversun.
Children of who?
Oversun.
The Oversun. Oh god, I have you all the way up. Hold on.
Sorry, I'm putting my face right next to the microphone to get her voice to come through.
Volume mixer. Oh god, Discord's all the way up.
Oh,
Gotcha.
no.
I love her. I love her so much. But Misa will rise and go. Do you know why we are here?
I know you seek something that I can give you.
Indeed. We have been called upon to make an object for the sake of this world and many others. And it is with this that we must ask you for a pattern for it.
Her eyes glitter in the black light, and she sways ever so slightly and says, "Yes, I know of this. It is a tool designed not for the enemy you face, but it should work all the same. I know how it is made. I will record it for you, that you might also know. It will be done in time. Stay here for some days. 4, perhaps, and I will spin your pattern for you."
Thank
I give you many thanks. I give you many thanks, Webmother. From my old gods and myself.
You, obviously she doesn't have facial expressions, so you have no idea how she responds to that.
Yeah, Misa just bows when she does that.
And then she turns. Physically, she turns her body on that bridge of webbing, and she turns towards Lucian, and she says, "Lucian, I have aid for you." And he's not paying attention at the moment, but he looks up when he hears her voice, and kind of looks to you, and then back to the Webmother, and then back to you, and then back to the Webmother. And he goes, "You'd have the Sunlighters aid us? Them?" And she
Would
says...
you rather no one?
The Webmother says, "You said anybody."
Besides, you've got the hottest sunlighter you've ever seen.
Hey.
Lucian glances at you again, and then he says, "This feels like a half-hearted attempt to get rid of me by throwing me cursory aid for my complaints." And the Webmother...
Better
Go on.
than a no-hearted attempt to
That's
get
what
rid of
we
you?
have done before.
One at a
Or
time, please.
full-hearted? I was like, is that better, or is it a no-hearted attempt or a full-hearted attempt to get rid of you?
I don't know.
I don't think we're helping.
He
I'm not.
is already rubbing his forehead with his fingertips. The Webmother says, "There is more to them than meets the eye. 5 of the 7 are God's marked." And that kind of shuts him up.
Yeah, Misa's just sort of staring at him.
He looks to you again.
And I mean, I think she outlined the tattoo on her forehead with paint at one point.
Yep.
So like it's there.
You guys hear like a weird wheezy noise. It's like a broken accordion.
An incredible description.
A strange musical wheezing that you realize is the Webmother's laughter.
Incredible.
He's valid.
I love her so much.
And she says, "Speak to them outside this place. The suits make them uncomfortable." And I'm only done with her voice for now, Skylark. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, my hearing is not the best at times. And
I did have one question.
Oh.
Sorry.
I'm not...
Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry.
Go on.
You said this pattern, you made it previously for a different threat? What was that?
It was long ago and is long dead now.
That's good.
And that's probably all we're getting.
Nice. Thanks.
Any other questions for her?
Is there anything you would like us to bring in return? An offering?
No.
Understood.
I know why you want this. Your goals are necessary.
Misa will give another bow.
to admit the first that pops to my brain is, yeah, well, okay, she does live in this world too, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
she
at
lives
least
here
she keeps her stuff
too.
here.
Alrighty. Thank you for your time, ma'am. Little bow. Shoo everyone out.
Lucian goes with you. Because... Well, no, he doesn't actually, I forgot. He nods, and he vaults up onto the bat's shoulders, and the bat spreads its wings, and in a flash, it is gone back down the entry tunnel.
Holy shit. This is incredible.
The Webmother, I'm gonna speak as her again, sorry, looks to you guys, turning again on her web to face the entry tunnel, and she says, "I think that you will be more useful than he realizes. It is all in knowing." You have ties that bind you to other parts of the world. That, I think, will aid you.
That is the single most ominous thing you've ever fucking said.
With that, she falls
And I only
silent.
caught half of it.
It was something we have ties.
I'll write it
ties
out.
that
Parts
bind
of
us
the world
to...
will aid us.
Yeah,
Other
let me-
parts of the world.
Yeah, I'll write it out. I actually have this
but
conversation physically
before-
written, so
Good,
through
because like,
some portent.
your writing
Yeah.
is good, it makes me sad when I can't hear.
Yeah, something we're god marked, and then something we are tied to other parts of the world without specifying what those are, and that they might aid us, and I'm concerned.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
Oh, that's a capital it.
Sorry, I
don't
didn't
like
mean to
that.
capitalize that.
Oh my god.
So when I'm
was
typing and I have to hold down shift to capitalize a letter, sometimes my fingers get to the second letter before I lift my
Same.
finger off the shift, so I end up capitalizing a bunch
Oh,
of letters.
same.
I do the
Sorry.
same
Yeah, I've
thing.
done that kind of thing too.
I was vaguely terrified for a second
Nope.
though.
Nope.
Same. I was like, oh
Shit.
no.
Evil
Caps lock!
Here,
Oh
here you
god.
go.
I would never.
I pin. We good.
Okay.
Alright, we go after Lucian.
Yeah, you you head
go.
back down the entry tunnel, and you take your suits off, and in the chamber outside that one, you find Lucian, who is waiting for you. He looks impatient and antsy. And he says, "Very well, outsiders. If the mother says you are to help us, then you are to help us. But follow the rules and don't get in anyone's way."
Mira's gonna try and be polite and introduce us all.
He seems like he doesn't want to know who you are. Like he really wishes he weren't here.
Fuck him, he gets
Honestly.
to know who we are anyway.
The elves who visit with Mother's blood were more polite than you, and they didn't ask for help.
He gives you a glare. I asked for assistance, and instead I got you, whom I'm going to have to babysit through the Underdark because you clearly don't understand our customs. Sorry
have
if
we
I'm
done
not too
wrong?
pleased.
Well, you can always explain to us. We catch on quick.
Yes,
If
you
you're
can
looking
tell
for
us
a
what,
tour guide, find
customs
someone
we've-
else.
Well, if you can tell us what customs we violated so far, we can certainly correct our behavior.
I don't care. I just wanted someone capable of assisting.
Well, let's find out if we're capable. Hmm?
You know,
What do you
I
need help
do think we're someone. So you did technically get what you wanted. Should have been
I
more
mean,
specific.
I don't need you to lecture me on technicalities. Thanks.
Come on, guys. It's clear he doesn't actually want our help. He can just
Okay.
stay away with whatever fucking problem he's dealing with, being a little whiny bitch about it, and he's not going to accept any fucking help that comes his way. That's fine. That's your entire right, my guy.
Mira's just like head in hands after he says this, like, no, I was trying to
Has
do
a-
that.
It was full on laughing.
And at this moment, Azkrik, who did not accompany you in, sort of shows up at the door, and he looks in and he goes, Lucian, what are you doing? And Lucian whirls around and goes, Azkrik, what are you doing here?
He's with us.
Azkrik folds his arms and says, I asked first.
Can I insight check?
Yeah, on who?
Both of them.
Go
Is
ahead.
there a relationship here?
I also-
need to know.
You're trying to figure out if it's
Also-
somebody's salty ex.
I want to
Yes.
I'm sorry, what? Could you repeat
pick
that?
this too. Yeah, I wanna see what's going on
Okay.
here.
Roll insight, both
Yeah,
of you.
might as well roll too.
All of you.
22.
Okay?
Natural 20.
Jesus.
Ooh.
Plus, I think 9 or something from
Oh,
either
10.
8 or 9.
Okay.
16.
All of you can tell these two know each other. It doesn't seem like X drama. But they know each other for some reason. And you suspect it has to do with the fact that Lucian has that symbol of the hunter on his robes. They're clearly familiar, and Lucian's demeanor changes slightly when Ascrick shows up, from that sort of dismissive, arrogant bastard to slightly more, like, willing to talk, in a way. He's slightly more open.
Yeah, because he's into it.
Nope. Nope. None of that. There's none of that.
Out.
It seems like you guys know each other.
Who is older? It'd be difficult to tell. They're probably around about the same age.
Mir's gonna attempt to
They were
diplomatically
roommates.
ask, so, what is the issue that you were confer assistance with?
Ascrick looks to all of you and he goes, Issue? Did you get yourselves into something? What?
What do you think?
The
What
Webmother
do you...
could not
I
help
don't know
him.
why I asked. Okay. Well,
The
This
Webmother
happened
cannot
No offense,
help him,
just-
so
you,
So we will.
you know me and how we how we end up.
yes.
we got volunteered.
For something that you came... Lucian, it must be something extraordinary if you came all the way here from Heishi. And Lucian kind of... He looks over at you guys. He pauses. Like he's almost unwilling to speak. He's not sure if it's safe or something.
Do you want to go somewhere else to talk?
Ascrick says, they're here to help you, apparently, Lucian, so speak up or leave, I guess. Okay? And Lucian glances around, finds one of the chairs to sit into, and flops into it. He leans forward and puts his elbows on his knees and his head on his hands. And he suddenly sort of loses all of that arrogance and annoyance, and now he just looks tired.
Oh, hella mood.
And he says, someone in Reishi is killing. Always in the same manner, always brutal, always untraceable. We can't find them, and it's been months.
Perhaps it is good that outsiders are looking. If they know your place too well, then you might never find them.
I know. I'm aware that that's
Is
the
there
problem.
any pattern to the victims? Are they organized in a particular fashion? Are they...
They disappear.
Is there something that connects them?
No. There's not. They're just...
Wait,
They disappear, and then several days later, their remains show up. That's it.
In what state?
Destroyed. Usually, we don't even find the whole corpse.
Ritualistic or savage?
I can't tell, and... maybe both.
alright.
Okay.
We can help with this.
Have you ever done criminal investigation? Have you ever experienced hunting down a serial killer before?
I mean, I've been on the other side, not the serial killer, but like killer in general. I've done that, but I mean, that's a whole other story, you know.
Ooh.
The whole point is, I probably can like figure it out, maybe.
We have uncovered the conspiracy behind a whole city and its history.
True.
Wait, what?
Silverhill.
Oh, I'm not familiar.
I was there. I was there when the original Suthara fell.
Sure.
When we started looking for the Triferium at first. So, when the Yuan-Ti fell, I was there to look for the first signs of the killer, so I can most likely help.
Point is,
Uh,
you've got the perfect people for the job. Congratulations, dude.
He looks
I don't think you're
exhausted.
helping. I do not think you're helping.
He kind of
us.
looks over you, and then he looks to Asgrick, and he says, "Do you vouch for these people? Or would you recommend them?" And Asgrick kind of shrugs, and says, "Well, if the Webmother told you to take them, there's probably a reason. She's not wrong about things like this."
I mean, Mir helped.
And
Misa-
Mir did help.
Misa
She's
will-
at least halfway competent.
Misa will bow to show off the tattoo, the brand tattoo, and
Lucian-
goes, "I am God touched."
Right. Okay. Fine. Okay.
Well, let's start with. I assume we should probably go closer to the area where this sort of stuff has been happening. Start looking at the list of victims,
Right.
locations where they were found. Start seeing if there's any form of connections.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Fine. We'll have to take
Anything.
a
Might
a
seem-
train.
Yes.
She's a
Mir
good.
like tries really hard to hide her childhood. She's like trying to act all serious and
Misa just
professional.
sighs.
He looks
It's like,
over you.
oh, Christ.
All right. I'll try to arrange transportation, I suppose. And Asgrick says, "I can get that. Don't worry about it." And
you.
Lucian nods to him, and Asgrick nods to all of you. And Lucian stands, and he says, "I'll, I suppose, meet you on the train station tomorrow morning. She's
That
several
sounds
days
perfectly
travel
fair.
from here at least. It's down in the south."
And by the time that we are finished, the pattern will be as well.
Well, would you look at that? Coincidence.
I doubt it.
He stands and outside the door, you see the shadow as his bat flutters down to the ground. And he heads towards the door and he turns and he says, "I apologize if I seem upset with the situation."
The deaths of civilians will always be upsetting. There is no need to apologize.
Clearly you were...
Not to mention, we're probably not the crack squad you were hoping for.
No, I
I
was
see.
hoping for some of her finest or something.
We will do our best to take that place.
I certainly hope so. We've lost 26 people over 7 months. So if you can help, fine, I'll take it.
I will do everything I can.
And he leaves. That's where we'll probably end for tonight, because it's 10:07 p.m.
God. Murder mystery.
Yeah, you didn't
First
I
thing
do
pops
that.
to mind.
I hope it doesn't glitches. I hope it doesn't glitch the way the fucking Skyrim quest does. Don't do that to us.
My first thought is, I hope so one of them has an intact mouth so I can speak with Ed.
Good luck. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Okay. That went a little bit late, but they got their newest quest. So, I've never run a murder mystery. Yes, 26 people. It's a pretty high number. One every few days. They were driven mad before/during dying. You won't get anything useful. No, it's because they don't have mouths left. But I admire their hopes, I suppose, that the corpses will still be recognizable. Yeah. Oh, boy. I've never run a murder mystery before. I'm actually very excited for this. Awful. Oh, tune in next week and it'll be even worse. Probably next week. I don't know if we're running next week, because I know at some point in the next month I have to spend like a week or two taking care of like the family pets and whatnot up in Ohio. So I'll be gone for at least one Saturday, I'm pretty sure. But of course I'll keep you updated on my Discord. So that is all for tonight. I'll likely stream later in the week. And then of course, if possible, next Saturday as well. Until then, good night and stay safe.